Welcome citizens of Blue Planet to the ocean survival world. Please note the following reminders. Rule 1. You are currently in the safe zone. Unauthorized combat or harassment within this area is strictly forbidden, and violators will face severe punishment. Rule 2. Based on your final locations on Blue Planet, you have been placed in new user channel 9527. Current population of this zone, 10,000 people. Rule 3. You will have 30 minutes to adapt. During this window, you may form teams of your choosing. A word of caution: too few members will place you at a disadvantage, but larger groups are not always better. Rule 4. 30 minutes from now, you will each be deployed to your individual beginner sea zones for survival. A monstrous creature of unimaginable power will hunt you throughout your ordeal. Do not stop running. Rule 5. Among you are survivors who have awakened special talents. It is advised you locate them and align yourselves with them. Rule 6. Personal statistics and additional detailed rules are recorded in the Survivor's Handbook. Summon it by calling out its name. Each Survivor's Handbook is visible only to themselves without explicit permission. Timer has started. May you survive the trials. Lu Yun's mind snapped fully awake the instant the strange voice faded inside his head. An avid reader of all kinds of web novels, he adapted to the bizarre situation quickly and began observing his surroundings. He stood within a vast plaza paved with polished white marble. Countless other people filled the space, some shouting in excitement, others overcome by panic. Damn it! Where on earth have we been dragged to? I have no clue. This feels so surreal. This can't be real. Someone pinch me. Let me out of here. I still have errands to finish. You web novel writers, give back my sanity. Tell me this is all a bad dream. Has anyone unlocked a talent? Please take me along. Scattered across the plaza were survivors standing alone, while others clustered together in small groups. Lu Yun recalled his last moment on Blue Planet. He had been passing through a community park on his way home. Many of the people crowding around him were elderly folks who frequented that very park. Realizing this, Lu Yun's eyes lit up. If the placement aligned with their final real-world positions, Sister Xia and the other girls ought to be somewhere within this safe zone as well. Thinking this, Lu Yun quickly stepped away from the random crowd and hurried toward the direction where he expected to find them. Time was short and the stakes were high. Finding Sister Xia and the rest was his top priority. While making his way through the crowd, he summoned his Survivor's Handbook and skimmed through its contents. Survivor. Lu Yun level. 0 Constitution. 12 Standard Adult Male Baseline. 10 Spirit. 13 Standard Adult Male Baseline. 10 Talent. Goddess's Blessing SSS Unique. Grade. Base Effect 1. Receive corresponding blessings based on your accumulated goddess score. If any male besides yourself exists within your team, your goddess score drops by 100%. Base Effect 2. Favor Perception. You are able to view others' favorability toward you. Base Effect 3. Score Inspection. You may view a target's comprehensive score calculated from their attributes and charm values. Only women with charm above 90 points contribute to your goddess score. Locked Blessings. Blessing 1. Loot Opening Blessing unlocks at 100 goddess score. Greatly amplifies rewards obtained from barrels, gift packs, treasure chests, and all loot sources. Blessing 2. Heavenly Reward Blessing unlocks at 100 goddess score. Boosts all rewards granted by world system mandates. Blessing 3. Experience Blessing unlocks at 300 goddess score. Increases experience gain for yourself and all female teammates. Additional Locked Blessings. Durability Blessing unlocks at 900 points. Luck Blessing unlocks at 1500 points. Attribute Blessing unlocks at 2500 points. Daily Divine Support Blessing unlocks at 5000 points. His constitution and spirit both sat comfortably above ordinary human standards. Still, what truly astonished him was his talent. According to the handbook, even F-grade talents possessed merely a 1% awakening probability. A-grade talents occurred on the scale of 1 in 100 million, while S-grade and above defied any measurable odds. Not only had he awakened a talent, it belonged to the highest possible tier. Its mechanics fit perfectly for the deadly survival ordeal ahead. A measure of calm settled over Lu Yun, easing his earlier tension. As Lu Yun searched for the girls, in the southeastern corner of the safe zone stood a woman of breathtaking beauty. She wore a simple black dress, her long hair loosely tied back with a plain white ribbon. No cosmetics adorned her features, yet her natural looks outshone heavily edited photos of internet celebrities. Xia Jixing carefully counted the girls beside her. Confirming no one was missing, she let out a quiet breath of relief. Her gentle eyes scanned the bustling crowd, and she whispered softly, "Xiao Yun." Beside her stood Luo Yao, her practical shoulder, length short hair framing a slender frame. She wore a faded cheap hoodie, yet nothing could dim her striking looks, nor her bright, resilient youthful aura. Her beauty was second only to Xia Jixin's. Remaining calm amid the sudden crisis, Luo Yao spoke. Sister Xia, let's go look for Brother Yun. The other girls turned toward Xia Jixin, their gazes laced with worry and longing. Xia Jixin shook her head gently, her tone soft. Don't rush. Xiao Yun will come find us. We ought to stay right here and not wander off. If we move around, he might lose track of us. Luo Yao nodded in agreement. Her eyes scanned strangers nearby with sharp vigilance. Inside this strange new world, no one could be trusted besides Brother Yun and the people in their small group. For everyone's sake, she had to stay constantly alert. While Xia Jixin's group waited anxiously for the person they relied on most, quite a few other survivors kept covert eyes on them. The group was hard to overlook. Every single one of the girls possessed outstanding natural beauty. Even the least attractive among them would rank as a top-tier campus beauty, all with bare faces. Such a gathering of gorgeous young women was extraordinarily rare. Several onlookers vaguely knew fragments of their background. They were orphans raised in a run-down private welfare home, abandoned for various reasons, and taken in by the kind-hearted old lady Yang Yun. After Yang Yun passed away years ago, their lives had grown even harder. None of these outsiders intended to take in the vulnerable girls and properly protect them through survival hardships, yet greedy thoughts lingered in some people's minds. At that moment, the voice of the world system boomed across the entire safe zone. Rule violation detected. To demonstrate that rules cannot be broken, exemplary maximum punishment will be administered, complete annihilation of body and soul. 5 individuals from different spots in the plaza lifted off the ground and hovered in mid-air, visible to every survivor. 3 of them wore lewd, greedy expressions, while the other 2 looked like street thugs. They thrashed and screamed in terror and rage. No, this can't be real. It's just a nightmare. I can do whatever I want inside a dream. I'm begging you. Spare me. Give me one more chance. Damn you. Prove this isn't all a trick. Before they could finish their frantic pleas, agony twisted their features. They let out shrill, blood-curdling screams. Their bodies collapsed inward, transforming into silent, crumpled paper effigies. Everyone who saw them felt as though the hollow black eye sockets of the paper figures stared out with malicious intent, sending chills down their spines. Pale blue ghost, flames ignited out of thin air and burned the paper effigies down to fine ash. A cold, eerie breeze brushed across every survivor's neck as the ashes drifted away. Right before vanishing, the tormented echoes of the 5 culprits' screams reverberated once more inside every person's ears. Survivors who had harbored improper, reckless thoughts shuddered, their hair standing on end. Those lingering near Xia Jixin's group quickly abandoned their selfish fantasies and backed far away, terrified of breaking the safe zone rules. When those unwelcome stares vanished, Xia Jixin and the other girls breathed quiet sighs of relief. Then one girl behind Xia Jixin gasped softly. We don't have anything except the clothes on our backs. Sister Xia, do you still have your medicine? Xia Jixin offered a faint comforting smile to the suddenly alarmed group. It is all right. Perhaps this world holds a way to heal my condition. Privately, she cared little for her own survival. She had long steeled herself to sacrifice her life, if necessary. Though many of the girls suffered poor physical health, they held an advantage no other team could easily match. Absolute mutual trust and complete unity. Every one of them was willing to lay down their lives to clear a path for Lu Yun. Furthermore, they could endure harsh conditions and survive on very little food. Yes, this is our opportunity. In this world, there must be a chance for all of us to recover. Luo Yao, one of the few girls with no health issues, spoke earnestly, filling the others with hope. At that moment, Chu Tiantian's ears twitched. Chu Tiantian had neat shoulder-length hair and an exquisitely beautiful face. Even in loose, modest dark clothing, her well-built figure was plainly noticeable. I hear footsteps. Brother Yun is coming. Chu Tiantian's voice brightened with joy as she turned toward one direction. Yi Xiaoqiong, who had been standing on tiptoes scanning the crowd, caught sight of Lu Yun in the distance. Once he drew within 10 meters, she set aside her usual timidity, broke away from the group, and sprinted toward him with a bright, sweet smile. Her twin white ponytails bounced playfully with every stride. Spotting Lu Yun, the rest of the girls found their anchor. All their previous anxiety melted away. Brother Yun. Big Brother Yun. They called out happily and hurried forward to surround him. Lu Yun exhaled in relief. Just as he had guessed, He had finally found them. He caught Yi Xiaoqiong as she ran into his arms, feeling her light weight, and pity stirred within him. Due to albinism, Yi Xiaoqiong had rare snow, white hair paired with an irresistibly cute face. He would rather she never had stood out in such a way. Going forward through the brutal survival ordeal, Xia Jiexin and Xiaoqiong, whose bodies struggled the most, were his greatest sources of worry. Xiaoyun, are you tired? Did you get hurt anywhere? Xia Jiexin stepped forward, took Lu Yun's calloused hands in hers, and gently massaged his muscles to ease his fatigue. I'm fine. Lu Yun shook his head and smiled. Except for himself and Luo Yao, every girl dealt with poor physical conditions. Still, none of them surrendered to hardship. They studied hard at school, helped Xia Jiexin with housework and handcrafts back home, and ignored strange stares from passers-by. On holidays, they took turns accompanying Lu Yun while he delivered food orders. Each of them pulled their weight for their little family. Knowing his efforts mattered made all exhaustion fade for Lu Yun. Lu Yun's gaze swept over the whole group, counting heads and checking their mental states. Seeing that everyone was holding up fairly well, his expression softened. Then he noticed Xia Jiexin press one hand over her mouth, suppressing a quiet cough. Instantly concerned, he pulled her hand away. Relaxing only when he saw no trace of blood, he asked anxiously, Sister Xia, how are you feeling right now? I'll be fine. I have my medicine. Xia Jiexin answered out of old habit, before remembering all medication was gone. We will make it work. This world is full of possibilities. I will find a way to get all of you better. Lu Yun's tone was firm. He had already guessed they would lose their medicine upon arrival, and he could not produce supplies out of nowhere. Still, he possessed an SSS, grade unique talent. He would do everything he could to heal them, and eventually build a comfortable, prosperous life for everyone in this brutal world. Xia Jiexin smiled tenderly. You sound just like Yao Yao. Xiaoyun, let me invite you into our team and hand over the captain position to you. Lu Yun glanced toward Luo Yao, who met his eyes with a faint blush and spoke softly. I truly believe we will succeed under your leadership, Brother Yun. Lu Yun nodded seriously. We absolutely will. Everyone, try not to worry too much. Let me show you what we have going for us. He held out his survivor's handbook for Xia Jiexin to read, hoping the power of his talent would lift everyone's spirits and ease their fears for what lay ahead. At the same time, he checked each girl's personal scores. Target, Xia Jiexin individual score, 124 breakdown. Appearance 100 human maximum. Temperament 20 human maximum. Attributes 4 favorability. 99 devoted unto death comprehensive charm 120. Meets goddess qualification standards. Target, Luo Yao individual score, 122 appearance 98. Temperament 18. Attributes 6 favorability. 99 devoted unto death comprehensive charm 116. Meets goddess qualification standards. Target, Chu Tiantan individual score, 122 appearance 99. Temperament 18. Attributes 5 favorability. 99 devoted unto death comprehensive charm 117. Meets goddess qualification standards. Target, Yi Xiaoqiong individual score, 116 appearance 97. Temperament 16. Attributes 3 favorability. 99 devoted unto death comprehensive charm 113. Meets goddess qualification standards. Charm values above 90 belong to exceedingly rare individuals, 1 in tens of thousands. To gather multiple people all clearing that threshold was almost unheard of, as if fate itself had arranged this encounter. Every girl around him held charm well above 95 points, satisfying the goddess score criteria. Xia Jiexin reached an astonishing 120 maximum charm points. Lu Yun was not entirely surprised. He had long known how remarkable their charm was. As they joked among themselves in daily life, most of their stat potential had gone toward their natural appeal. Yet their favorability readings caught him off guard. He had expected values hovering in the 80s, already representing deep lifelong affection. He had overestimated nothing. Instead, he had underestimated how deeply they cared for him. Every single one held the maximum devotion, tier favorability of 99 points. Upon joining their team, Lu Yun's goddess score jumped straight from 0 to 3,866 points. His SSS, unique goddess's blessing, unlocked 6 active blessings, several of which rose multiple tiers at once. Talent, goddess's blessing SSS unique current total goddess score, 3866 active blessings. Loot opening blessing LV.6 6,400 points required for LV.7. Rewards from barrels, gift packs, treasure chests, and all loot sources receive a random 10 to 50 times amplification. Amplification applies once per loot roll. Heavenly Reward Blessing LV.6 6,400 points required for LV.7. Rewards granted by the world system receive a random 10 to 50 times amplification. Amplification applies once per reward instance. Experience Blessing LV.4 6,800 points required for LV.5. Your personal experience gain plus 200%. All female team members receive plus 100% extra experience. Durability Blessing LV.3 7,200 points required for LV.4. Your physical and mental state degrade far more slowly. Your overall recovery speed increases by plus 200%. Luck Blessing LV.2 6,400 points required for LV.3. Your fortune is doubled. Attribute Blessing LV.1 6,000 points required for LV.2. All your base attributes increase by plus 100%. Locked Blessing. Divine Support Blessing unlocks at 5,000 points. The Attribute Blessing brought an immediate surge of power through Lu Yun's body. Fatigued muscles brimmed with fresh strength. He felt capable of lifting an ox. His updated stats displayed: Constitution, 2412 by 200%, Spirit, 2613 by 200%. After amplification, his Constitution hit 24, the absolute peak limit for human beings. He possessed genuine 1000 gene physical strength, a true peak mortal warrior. Reading Lu Yun's talent panel, the girls let out small gasps of joy. They rejoiced for his extraordinary fortune and felt satisfied knowing they contributed to his power. Chu Tian traced the surface of Lu Yun's survivor's handbook gently. Though she could not physically see, the world system allowed her to perceive Lu Yun's form with perfect clarity through this interface, filling her heart with gratitude and treasure for this gift. Once they understood the full scope of his talent, Xia Jiexin looked over at Lu Yun and spoke softly. Xiao Yun, given how your talent works, should we try to find more women who meet the charm requirements? I could go search. I especially hope we can locate Qin Feng, Yueling, and Xuening. The other girls voiced their shared anxiety. I'm worried they might not be inside this channel. I keep thinking about Qin Feng and Yueling, and sister Xuening as well. Meng Qin Feng and Meng Yueling were twin sisters. Though not formal orphans, they spent much of their time at Yang Yun's welfare home. Their birth mother had passed away from illness. Their birth father gambled constantly. Their stepmother treated them cruelly, and their younger brother was spoiled and unreasonable. The sisters bore the brunt of household anger and mistreatment. Their past hardships were no less severe than those of others. When they were little, on freezing winter days, they would be deliberately left outside as punishment. Cold and starved beyond endurance, the two young girls had no choice but to rummage through nearby trash cans for food. It was then that Lu Yun, out collecting scrap, waste to earn money, and buy simple new year gifts and snacks for everyone, spotted them and took them home. Later, their young Aunt Meng Xuening obtained legal guardianship and took them away. Their new home was only a few bus stops away, yet the busy aunt often had to leave the girls in the care of a welfare institute. For most of their childhood, they grew up within its walls. Meng Xuening, the aunt of Qin Feng and Yueling, was an instructor who taught traditional Chinese ancient style dance for women. She maintained close ties with the Welfare Institute and had supported it generously over the years. It would certainly be ideal if she could join their team. Moreover, she possessed grace and beauty comparable to the most legendary beauties of old, with an evaluation score well above 115. She would be highly complementary to Lu Yun's talents. Unfortunately, her studio was located in a distant district, outside their current area. If they failed to cross paths near their residential block, they would likely never meet in this zone, leaving any future alliance purely a matter of chance. Lu Yun was now leading his group toward the neighborhood he recalled as their home. Along the way, Lu Yun, Xia Jiexin, and the others witnessed the plight of other survivors. The entire safe zone buzzed like a chaotic talent market. Those who chose to reveal their awakened talents drew the most attention, carefully picking and choosing promising teammates from the crowd. Within this zone, fewer than 100 people in total had awakened talents, and the highest ranked talent openly displayed was merely grade D. Naturally, these survivors also noticed Lu Yun's unusually composed group. When they laid eyes on the strikingly beautiful Xia Jiexin and the other women, astonishment spread across their faces. Only a handful of bold men and women stepped forward to open conversations, yet they soon departed disappointed and even resentful. Before long, no one else dared attempt to approach. It was plainly obvious that poaching members from this group was impossible. Bound by karmic penalties imposed by the heavenly Tao, they dared not press their advances for fear of violating cosmic rules. They could only watch Lu Yun's party with burning envy. Lu Yun still had not located the people he sought. Qing Feng and Yueling were nowhere to be seen. Unlike others, who needed to accept applications and run tedious interviews and tests, Lu Yun possessed a unique means of judging candidates. A single glance sufficed to assess suitability. For people he already knew, their names would appear visibly floating above them, making searching far simpler. Sadly, Meng Xuening and the two girls were absent from the crowds he scanned. Only one woman met his evaluation threshold. She was breathtakingly lovely, matching the polished leading actresses seen in films, hitting exactly the 90-point charm benchmark. However, she already belonged to another team, led by her own father. There was zero possibility of her switching sides. Even if other eligible women existed, there was no guarantee they would wish to join such an unconventional party. The behavior of passers-by spoke volumes. Some proud women who considered themselves outstanding turned their backs the moment they spotted Lu Yun's group, acting as if they feared being accosted. Many onlookers felt a quiet sense of satisfaction at this sight. Judging by Lu Yun's unusual team composition, they wondered how he would keep more than 30 women alive through harsh survival conditions. Most observers believed that if any group was destined for total annihilation, Lu Yun's would be the prime candidate. The women in Lu Yun's group sighed in disappointment at their failed search. They comforted one another and prayed for the safety of Meng Xuening and the girls. With 10 minutes remaining before official deployment, the cold, unfeeling voice of the heavenly Tao echoed across the area once more. 10 minutes remained before deployment. Recognizing the pent-up frustration among you, an outlet is now provided. The arena duel mode will activate. Terms of combat may be negotiated by the two competing sides. The victorious team shall receive the newcomer support gift pack. Each team may participate in only one duel. Upon completing a duel, that team may no longer recruit new members, and its members cannot transfer to other teams. Notice, current total number of teams, 184. The sudden divine announcement shattered the recruitment frenzy in the plaza. As people processed the news, restless anger simmered through the crowd. Teams studied one another with curiosity, appraisal, and greed. Talented survivors who had been weighing their options no longer hesitated, eager to secure positions within powerful teams without delay. Teams boasting Grade D talent holders grew especially popular. The largest of these groups numbered close to 100 members, while the smallest still counted more than 50. Lu Yun's comparatively vulnerable-looking party drew predatory gazes from numerous rivals, many watching him with mocking or provocative expressions. Lu Yun sensed those hostile stares clearly. He had been marked as easy prey. Given his seemingly disadvantaged outward appearance, plenty of groups hungered to challenge him. Since participation was voluntary, anyone wishing to target him would have to accept whatever duel terms he set. That seemed only fair. He would agree to one-on-one combat. Provided it was a solo fight, he was confident of victory. 2 minutes later, one team finally lost patience. A muscular man in a short, sleeved tank top, built like a fitness coach, blocked Lu Yun's path with his followers. He raised an eyebrow. "How about a duel, brother?" Lu Yun had noticed this group tailing them for some time. Using his talent's investigative ability, he had already assessed their strength. Their strongest member possessed an overall stat rating of 13, averaging 13 points across physique and spirit. That far exceeded ordinary human standards, yet it paled against Lu Yun's 24-point physique. It remained to be seen who was truly the hunter and who the prey. "I will only accept one-on-one solo combat, with no restrictions on harm. We shall wager attribute points." Lu Yun looked steadily at the leading man and laid out his conditions. Fully confident of winning, and irritated by the provocation, he intended to maximize his gains by setting strict terms. The opposing team exchanged confused glances. They sized Lu Yun up. Fit, yet not exceptionally bulky. Beside him stood their heavily muscled captain. Many struggled to hold back smirks. How can he be so overconfident? Where does this come from? Is this a bluff to scare us off? He has miscalculated, right? Our brother long awakened an E-grade strongman talent. They are finished. What a waste of those beautiful women. Boss, accept. Make them regret this. The man called Brother Long nodded confidently at his subordinates. His eyes flickered with undisguised admiration and greed as he glanced past Lu Yun toward the women behind him. He quickly smoothed his features into a genial smile. "Ladies, why not join our team instead? Following him will get you nowhere." "Exactly. Stick with Brother Long, and you'll eat well and live comfortably." His teammates took up the chant. Their crude jeers deepened the revulsion in Xia Jiexin and the other women's eyes. "Wait. Two voices rang out simultaneously from nearby. Everyone turned to see a pair of identical twin girls weaving through crowds of would-be recruiters, ignoring every attempt to draw them over. They headed straight for Lu Yun. Upon spotting him, their eyes lit up with unbridled joy. They quickened their pace and ran forward. "Brother Lu Yun, Sister Xia, I knew you would be here. We searched hard to find you. We landed right on the edge of this zone. We almost missed you entirely." They halted before him, gasping for breath. Lu Yun let out a long, awaited sigh of relief. He reached out and ruffled both of their hair. "Come, I'll add you to the team." Obligingly, the two girls summoned their survival manuals. As they did, Lu Yun saw their evaluation stats float into view. Subject, Meng Qingfeng. Individual rating, 114. Appearance 93. Demeanor 15. Combat power 6. Favorability, 99. Subject, Meng Yueling. Individual rating, 114. Appearance 93. Demeanor 15. Combat power 6. Favorability, 99. Not yet at their full developmental peak. They already boasted a combined charm score exceeding 108. They perfectly satisfied his requirements, and both held 99-point favorability toward him. No better recruits could be hoped for. The team's total goddess rating surged past 4,000. Onlookers observing Lu Yun's group burned with bitter envy. How could such an unconventional team, on the very eve of a high-stakes duel, successfully recruit new members? And such stunning twin beauties at that? It felt utterly unjust. Brother Long grew anxious and tried to intervene. "Ladies, they are about to fight us in a duel where attribute points are on the line. Think carefully before committing. Come join us instead, and we will take good care of you." His team echoed him eagerly. "Yes, our Brother Long has an E-grade talent. Any other ladies wanting to join should hurry. No more recruitment will be allowed once the duel starts." Qingfeng and Yueling's beauty rivaled that of the women already beside Lu Yun, and their twin status made them all the more remarkable. Even knowing they could never win them over, many men craved merely to lay eyes on them daily. To their chagrin, the twins completely ignored their appeals. Their gestures made their intent unmistakable. They opened their survival manuals and formally joined Lu Yun's team. Watching the warm, familiar interaction between the girls and Lu Yun, Brother Long's group understood that persuasion was futile. They simmered with rage. Their only hope for satisfaction lay in winning the duel, so they could witness Lu Yun's party plunge into despair. Losing 4 total attribute points across their whole team would cripple their survival prospects. Meanwhile, Meng Qingfeng leaned close to Lu Yun's ear and spoke playfully. "Brother Lu Yun, Yueling and I both awakened talents." Meng Yueling stood politely beside them and added earnestly, "We are easy to support. We can take care of ourselves. Don't worry, you will never go hungry. Our circumstances will only keep improving." Lu Yun stroked their hair. He cared deeply for these two girls who trusted him completely. Checking their manuals, he discovered that not only had they awakened talents, but those talents were extraordinarily powerful, both ranked grade B, a 1 in a million occurrence. Within this zone, aside from Lu Yun himself, theirs were likely the highest ranked talents. Even compared against survivors across hundreds of zones, their abilities would count as elite. Meng Qingfeng, level 0 talent. Inspiration grade B, boosts the active output of inspired allies. The magnitude of enhancement scales based on the user's spirit relative to the target's spirit. Minimum boost, 20%, maximum boost, 200%. Physique, 6 spirit, 6. Meng Yueling, level 0 talent. Soothing melody grade B, purifies mental corruption, restores mental energy. Can calm, pacify, and induce trances, granting limited crowd control effects. Physique, 6 spirit, 6. Brother Long, seeing his schemes collapse, dropped all pretense of civility. He interrupted their conversation with provocation and disdain. "So, are you going through with this duel or not? If you are too cowardly, speak up and stop wasting everyone's time." Such transparent taunts worked on hot-headed youngsters, but not on Lu Yun, who had endured countless hardships growing up. Still, the potential rewards of the duel were too valuable to pass up. He would take every advantage he could get. He had just learned from the twins that Meng Xuaning was located in another zone, so there was no reason to delay further. He summoned the prepared duel contract panel and waited for their response. Duel contract. This contest shall be a 1-on-1 solo match. No restrictions on harm. The team of the surviving combatant shall be declared victor and receive the newcomer support gift pack bestowed by Heavenly Tao. Additional terms. This duel wagers 2 physique points and 2 spirit points. The winning team gains 2 physique points and 2 spirit points for every member. The losing team loses 2 physique points and 2 spirit points for every member. These were the terms Lu Yun had composed, representing the maximum possible stakes permitted under the survival system rules. 2 extra physique points would deliver a substantial boost to his team, whose average physique value hovered around 4. Additional spirit points would raise mental endurance, sharpen bodily control, and offer many other practical benefits. You really dare propose such brutal terms? Do you think I am afraid of you? Brother Long's eyelids twitched upon reading the contract. He had expected only a bluff, yet Lu Yun meant business. Deep unease stirred within him. He fixed Lu Yun with an intimidating stare. Lu Yun remained completely unmoved. He shot back sarcastically. What are you staring at? Back off if you don't dare. Lu Yun's unruffled composure made it impossible to tell whether he was bluffing or genuinely confident. But the challenge had already been issued. Behind him, his own teammates burned with greedy anticipation over the promised attribute, point rewards, and trusted in his strength. He could not afford to back down. To lose face would shatter the authority holding his newly formed team together. Gritting his teeth inwardly, he selected the agree option, clinging to the hope that Lu Yun was merely posturing. He refused to believe that, as an E-grade talent holder with 13 physique points, amplified by strongman to deliver force comparable to an 18 physique point individual, he could possibly lose to a young man who looked barely out of university. Once both sides ratified the contract and selected their representatives, a transparent barrier materialized, enclosing the 2 fighters. Lu Yun would fight for his own team. Brother Long, the fitness coach turned team leader, stepped forward for the opposing side. Brother Long displayed basic combat training, shifting his weight with ring-ready footwork. Lu Yun felt no anxiety. Long before the apocalypse, he had fought constantly to defend the vulnerable children of the Welfare Institute, beating bullies several grades older than himself. He was no stranger to real, world brawling. His rough, honed street fighting experience served him well, compounded by physique statistics pushing ordinary human limits. With 26 spirit points, he possessed extraordinary focus, perception, observational skill, and analytical prowess. Every movement of his advancing opponent unfolded before Lu Yun's eyes, as if slowed down. He could even predict likely follow-up actions. The high spirit stat was far more than decorative. It granted immense combat advantages. Brother Long threw a probing punch. Lu Yun tilted his head and dodged effortlessly. A subsequent left hook was similarly foreseen. Lu Yun caught the fist with casual precision. There was a 6-point gap between Lu Yun's 24-point physique and Brother Long's effective 18-point strength bonus, a difference of hundreds of pounds of raw force. When Brother Long realized his full power blow had been caught, and crushing pressure from Lu Yun's grip sent sharp pain shooting through his hand, dread washed over him. He had lost even the contest of brute strength. He possessed only a strength, focus talent. His durability, resilience, speed, and reaction time remained anchored to his base 13-point physique. Against Lu Yun's swift counter-attack, Brother Long's reactions lagged badly. He could not mount an effective defense. A powerful knee strike connected solidly against his torso, and overwhelming agony crashed over him. In a fight with no holds barred, Lu Yun targeted vulnerable areas without hesitation. A heavy crack echoed, followed by a scream of searing pain. Every male spectator winced instinctively. Brother Long's teammates turned pale with despair. The young man who had looked like nothing more than a handsome civilian had proven devastatingly formidable. The large muscular fighter had barely managed any resistance before being defeated. All the mocking anticipation from earlier curdled into utter hopelessness. Setting aside their lost attributes, they had also lost their brilliantly gifted leader. This was a battle to the death, one that would not end until one side perished. Long Gu had passed out from agony, and by all appearances, there was no path to victory for him. Once a wagered battle commenced, team rosters could no longer be changed. Deprived of both their top fighter and portions of their stats, their team was as good as finished. They had hoped to crush Lu Yun, yet they had only sealed their own fate. In the trials ahead, they would likely be the first team wiped out. When the protective barrier faded, Long Ji's body was erased by the will of heaven. The victor was beyond doubt. Many onlookers, especially women who had once scorned Lu Yun's group, were filled with regret. Most teams entered wagered fights merely for reward packs, with no high-stakes wagers. They would only pick easy targets who offered little challenge, while avoiding opponents of comparable strength where victory was uncertain. Only Lu Yun had dared to stake so much. 2 full attribute points. In this era where most people suffered poor physical health, those extra points would grant stats comparable to many men. Lu Yun had already instantly defeated a fitness coach with decent physical stats and an E-rank talent. It stood to reason that he possessed a talent of his own, at minimum C rank, possibly even B rank. What a powerful ally he would have made. But regret could change nothing. The wagered fight was over, and joining his team was no longer an option. Congratulations on your victory in the wagered battle. You have received the Heavenly Reward. Novice Support Pack times 1 your talent effect. Heavenly Reward Amplification has activated. This Heavenly Reward receives a 43-fold boost. The reward has been upgraded to Novice Supreme Pack times 1, which may be opened once the survival game officially begins. You have won the wagered battle. Additional treaty provisions take effect. All enemy team members lose 2 Constitution and 2 Spirit. All members of your team gain 2 Constitution and 2 Spirit. Wails erupted from the opposing side. Everyone visibly weakened. In this world where average stats hovered merely between 7 and 8, while below the benchmark of 10, losing 2 points was equivalent to forfeiting a quarter of one's total capacity. They felt as though they were recovering from a grave illness, the impact profound. For Xia Jixin and the other women whose bodies had always been frail, gaining 2 points brought a 50% improvement. A profound sense of wellness washed over them, as though long, hidden ailments had melted away. They gazed back at Lu Yun with open admiration, and Lu Yun could not help but feel pleased. When they read the settlement details displayed on his handbook, joy spread across their faces. The Novice Supreme Pack was clearly far superior to an ordinary Novice Support Pack. It was a pity the treaty bonuses did not count as heavenly rewards. Otherwise, they would have begun the game overwhelmingly strong. Still, the pack fell under loot, opening mechanics. Luo Yao tugged gently at Lu Yun's sleeve and whispered, "Brother Yun, can your loot opening amplification apply to this pack as well?" Lu Yun nodded with a smile. Heavenly Reward Amplification and Loot Opening Amplification each could trigger only once per reward, yet they did not interfere with one another. A pack or chest enhanced by Heavenly Reward Amplification could still receive a second boost from Loot Opening Amplification. 2 layers of amplification were overwhelmingly overpowered. He wondered whether packs and chests were common heavenly rewards or rare ones. Xiao Yun is amazing. Xia Jixin had overheard their exchange. She looked fondly at the young man she was proud of and ruffled his hair just as she had done in earlier days. Lu Yun smiled playfully at her and tapped his own forehead. "Sister Xia, I believe that reward is missing one customary gesture." Xia Jixin's cheeks flushed. Glancing at the other girls nearby, she shot him a mock, scolding look that held no real bite. "You are far too old for that sort of thing now." The other women watched, emotions stirring within them, unsure whether to envy Xia Jixin or Lu Yun. Still, the atmosphere lightened. Improved physical condition and news of their upgraded reward lifted their spirits. No longer were they paralyzed by fear for the future, nor tormented by worries that they would become a burden to Lu Yun. As they talked quietly, the final minutes ticked down. Then the voice of heaven resounded once more, impassive yet thrumming with suppressed intensity. The countdown ends. The survival game officially commences. The plaza shattered the instant the voice faded. Teams dissolved into streams of white light within endless nothingness. Then Lu Yun's vision swam as he lost consciousness. When Lu Yun regained awareness, he and his companions lay atop a large wooden raft. The raft measured 20 meters long and 10 meters wide. It was far from ideal, yet large enough to hold everyone. At its center lay a long rope fitted with an iron grappling hook. It functioned poorly as an anchor, too light and thin. 2 roughly crafted bamboo fishing rods sat nearby, along with 10 wooden oars. They would have to row this unpowered raft with their bare hands if they hoped to outrun the monstrous predator hunting them. Lu Yun immediately sensed the unforgiving cruelty of the survival game. The easy safety of the gathering plaza was gone. Stretching in every direction was endless, rolling blue ocean. Though beautiful, the boundless expanse stirred a primal, creeping dread. At least he was not alone. To drift through this vast sea entirely by oneself would surely drive anyone insane. A regional chat channel was available, though each survivor could send only 3 messages per day. Captains received 10. It served both as a means to ease tension and their primary source of information. Many others had woken already, and messages poured in. Reports confirmed that every team found themselves on identical ocean stretches, yet these waters were isolated. Each group existed within its own separate realm. For this phase at least, apart from wagered battles, they would not need to fear direct conflict or resource competition against other humans. Lu Yun had barely formed that thought when Heaven's voice contradicted his assumption. Announcement: the Novice Ocean phase will last 10 days. Throughout the novice period, a regional leaderboard will be generated based on raft grade, crew quality and size, available resources, voyage progress, and unlocked achievements. At the end of the novice phase, generous heavenly rewards will be granted to top-ranked teams. First place. Each team member receives 30 free attribute points doubled for the captain, 100 talent card fragments, 10 common supply cards. Second place. Each team member receives 20 free attribute points, 50 talent card fragments, 5 common supply cards. Third place. Each team member receives 15 free attribute points, 30 talent card fragments, 3 common supply cards. Fourth to 10th place. Each team member receives 10 free attribute points, 10 talent card fragments, 2 common supply cards. The top spots on their regional board were occupied by massive teams of hundreds, who had ignored Heaven's prior warnings. While their numbers granted early advantages, sustaining so many people would place immense strain on limited supplies. Heaven itself had warned that larger crews were not always better. 205 teams existed within their region, competing for merely 10 reward positions. Even in these isolated seas, rivalry persisted. For Lu Yun, that was welcome news. Heavenly rewards amplified by his talent could yield unimaginable gains. Even with the lowest possible multiplier, first place rewards would grant him 600 attribute points. With favorable luck, he could gain thousands, pushing his personal combat power toward unmatched heights. Once everyone aboard had woken, Lu Yun opened the Novice Supreme Pack. Novice Supreme Pack. Description: a rare, vastly upgraded novice grade treasure. It yields supplies critical for new survivors and has the potential to forge a novice-era champion. Pack opened successfully. Obtain perfection card ×1. Your talent effect, loot, opening amplification activates. This opening receives a 50-fold boost. You obtain perfection card ×50. Perfection card. Special item description: remolds one's foundational constitution to a perfect state. It erases illness, physical defects, and all other bodily flaws. Those with dormant hidden talents gain a new chance to awaken them. Staring at the item, Lu Yun felt immense joy. This was exactly what he had hoped for. With these cards, every physical affliction troubling Xia Jixin, Chu Tiantian, Yi Xiaoqiong, and the others could be healed. They would grow stronger, and some might even awaken talents. Even those already in good health, including himself and Luo Yao, would reap tangible benefits. Everyone, come quickly. These are precious treasures from the pack. Lu Yun called out excitedly. Each person read the item description upon receiving a card, tears of joy welling in their eyes. Their long-standing physical sufferings could finally end. Now they possessed the capacity to survive. They had genuine confidence that they could stand beside Lu Yun rather than weigh him down. Deep-seated insecurities and self-doubt melted away. Xia Jixin stared at her card, then turned her soft gaze toward Lu Yun. Meeting his encouraging eyes, warmth bloomed inside her heart, mixed with gentle shyness. Freed from her chronic poor health, she no longer carried thoughts of hopeless self-sacrifice. She longed to live alongside Lu Yun and the rest of the group. Freed from the fear that her fragile body would hold him back, she found new courage for the bond they shared. Her heart raced, heat spreading across her body. Hastily, she activated her perfection card to quiet her swirling emotions. One after another, including Luo Yao, everyone used their cards. Glowing white light wrapped each figure. Lu Yun activated his own last. A soothing remolding sensation washed over him, entirely free of pain. He could clearly feel his body regenerating. Old nutritional deficiencies and hidden injuries from his youth were fully repaired. He attained the peak physical development his body was capable of. His height increased 8 centimeters to 188 centimeters. His skin and features sharpened further. His charm stat, previously around 116, likely reached the maximum value of 120. All his other physical traits improved dramatically. His appearance, bearing, and personal charisma now stood at an exceptionally high level. He also gained 5 additional points each to Constitution and Spirit. The remolding process lasted less than 5 minutes. When it concluded, the others finished as well. Their transformations were plain to see. Every person's looks, figure, and aura advanced significantly. Average charm rose by 10 points. Even the lowest among them exceeded 105. They had transformed from campus beauties into women of breathtaking, legendary grace. Fully restored to peak physical condition, Every crew member gained no fewer than 5 points each in Constitution and Spirit. Some gained even more. Luo Yao possessed the highest stats of the group, Constitution 12, Spirit 15. Even Yi Xiaoqiong, the lowest, ranked, reached Constitution 9 and Spirit 12. Her distinctive white hair remained, lustrous and full of vitality. Every member of Lu Yun's crew now matched or surpassed the average adult human in core attributes. As his companion's stats elevated, Lu Yun received a system notification of his talent advancing further. Congratulations! The total charm rating of your allied goddesses has reached 5,000. New buff unlocked. Blessing support amplification. Equally important was the possibility of talent awakenings brought by the perfection cards. Lu Yun had not held overly high hopes, yet reality exceeded expectations. 2 of them awakened talents, both impressively powerful. Brother Yun, look at my new talent. Yi Xiaoqiong bounded over to him, holding out her handbook in unbridled excitement. Survivor, Yi Xiaoqiong level, 0 Constitution, 9 Spirit, 12 Talent, Rabbit Puppet Creation A, rank. Effect, consume stamina and mental energy to create controllable combat puppets. Puppet stats are determined by material bonuses plus 100% to 300% of the creator's own attributes, fluctuating based on materials and the creator's state. Maximum controllable puppets at once. 1. The creator suffers no harm if a puppet is destroyed. After showing him her panel, Yi Xiaoqiong pointed toward the ocean. A 20-centimeter, tall, bright, blue rabbit crafted from seawater emerged from the waves. It hopped across the surface and perched upon Lu Yun's shoulder. Its status panel opened for everyone to view. Combat Rabbit Puppet. Material composition, seawater material bonus. Free movement within marine environments. Constitution, 9. Forged from seawater, its stats mirrored Yi Xiaoqiong's, and it possessed no spirit stat. Even so, the talent's potential was immense. She could craft puppets out of nearly any substance, each granting unique special properties. Seawater allowed unrestricted movement across the sea, a trait nearly comparable to a B-rank talent in this ocean-themed survival setting. As long as she maintained sufficient stamina and mental energy, Yi Xiaoqiong could sustain endless waves of puppet fighters. Her puppets also excelled at scouting and exploration. Destroyed puppets could simply be replaced. The talent offered tremendous value both in combat and utility, its practical impact comparable to many S-rank talents. Though Lu Yun had never before witnessed an S-rank talent, that was his impression. Shortly afterward, he would see an S-rank talent firsthand. Lu Yun patted the eager Yi Xiaoqiong's head in praise. Then Chu Tiantian stepped forward. She had watched him quietly the whole time, her gaze fixed upon him. She walked unsteadily across the swaying raft. Both Lu Yun and Xia Jiexin stared in surprise. Having endured the same transformation, the gap between her and the rest was striking. Flustered under all the eyes upon her, Chu Tiantian's face blushed bright red. She wished she could dive beneath the raft to hide. Yet she wanted to share her newly awakened talent and earn Lu Yun's praise. Lu Yun could already guess how extraordinary her talent was. Her eyes had changed, crystalline like violet gemstones, marked with intricate patterns. Her talent was tied directly to those eyes. Talent, see God's Eyes S rank. Effect, reveals detailed information across seas within a radius equal to the user's spirit value in kilometers. Greater spirit yields richer intel. All ocular-based techniques gain a 500% power boost. Sniping, style attacks receive plus 300% accuracy and plus 300% damage. This S-rank talent combined unmatched scouting utility and combat power. Information was priceless in this featureless open ocean. Right after demonstrating her ability, Chu Tiantian stared toward the open sea and gasped. I can see the creature chasing us. She projected what she observed for everyone. The image displayed a grotesque shark covered in tangled human-like muscle tissue. Pursuer, demon muscle shark. Grade, iron constitution, 100 spirit, 20 description. Once I catch up to you, you will not survive. See God's Eyes exclusive info 1. Securing the global first kill grants abundant heavenly rewards. See God's Eyes exclusive info 2. Should the first kill not be achieved in this zone, the pursuer will merge with future zone predators and grow stronger. Yet kill rewards remain unchanged. See God's Eyes exclusive info 3. At your current drift speed, the pursuer will overtake you in 3 hours. Start rowing immediately. All 3 points were critical. They would be caught in merely 3 hours. If they hoped to survive, some of them would need to row non-stop, even through the night. Heaven clearly encouraged them to hunt the pursuer rather than merely flee it. If they kept running indefinitely, Few's pursuers would eventually grow into an unstoppable horror. Lu Yun's mind turned toward the possibility of killing it. Not only would it prevent future threats, the first kill heavenly reward tempted him greatly. With his talent, even ordinary rewards could become extraordinarily valuable with a 30-fold or higher amplification. He checked his own status panel, updated by the wagered battle and perfection card. Constitution, 3819 by 200% spirit, 4020 by 200%. His constitution was still far below 100. Even with comparable stats, without specialized talents or tactics, defeating the shark in its ocean home carried too much risk. Though he wished to slay it, Lu Yun refused to throw any of his crew into reckless danger. Even the fearless Luo Yao shook her head. We cannot take it on right now. Perhaps we will get an opportunity in the days ahead. Having said that, she picked up on her own, walked to one side, and smiled at Lu Yun. Brother Yun, I'll take care of the rowing here. We can't kill our pursuers for now, but we absolutely must not get caught up too. Hearing this, before Lu Yun could even get to his feet, the others rushed forward, afraid of being a single second too slow. The first 9 people to grab oars wore triumphant grins, then turned and smiled sweetly at Lu Yun. Brother Yun, you're our strongest fighter. We can't waste your stamina on rowing. Save your energy and stay in top shape. That's right, Brother Yun. You've only just recovered your health. We'd love the chance to break a sweat ourselves. Brother Yun, I didn't manage to get an oar. How about I give you a massage? I promise I'm pretty good at it. Remember to swap shifts with us once you get tired. As they rowed hard, the group chattered noisily. When their eyes met, genuine, happy smiles spread across their faces. They had grown up together, relying on one another through every hardship. They knew each other inside out. Every one of them wanted the others to live better lives. Without needing to say a word, they would always volunteer for whatever work they could handle. Having been independent from childhood, none of them wished to become a burden to Lu Yun. There was no slacking off, no shirking responsibility, no petty jealousy or infighting among them. In that regard, their team was far better than 99% of all groups out there. Only military-grade units could compare to them. When it came to team atmosphere, Lu Yun doubted there were many teams anywhere that could hold a candle to his. Meanwhile, the regional chat channel was already buzzing with minor conflicts barely after the game started, sparked by disagreements over task division. Damn it. We agreed on a plan at the start, but barely anyone's willing to pick up an or once we're actually out here. Is this for real? It drives me crazy watching people loaf while rowing. If the chasers catch up, can that slacker take responsibility for getting all of us killed? Quit your yelling. I'm at least doing some rowing. What about you? The chat channel was extremely lively. Some people wasted their limited 3 daily messages just bickering. It was hardly surprising. Most of these groups had been thrown together out of nowhere. When the captain lacked firm leadership and everyone was trapped in a life or death crisis, tempers flared and conflicts inevitably erupted. Thankfully, his own team would never fall into such chaos. Their high favorability scores spoke for themselves. Lu Yun wanted to pitch in, but the girls kept turning him down, telling him to preserve his strength. He let out a helpless chuckle. He wanted to tell them he had stamina bonuses and could keep going like an ox, but they just shook their heads and playfully teased him for going on and on. He turned his attention instead to the newly unlocked bonus effects from his talents. Blessing Support Buff LV.1. Effect. You gain 1 random blessing or support reward each day. Blessings are usually temporary, with an extremely low chance of being permanent. Support rewards may be gift packs or tangible bonuses including, but not limited to attribute points. Higher buff levels yield higher tier blessings and support rewards. Today's available support reward. LV.1 Daily Gift Pack *1. After reading the description, Lu Yun was stunned. This single buff alone was comparable to an S rank talent, truly worthy of his unique SSS rank talent. Today's reward happened to be a gift pack. Gift packs benefited from his opening bonus talent. He took out the support gift pack and rubbed his hands together. He also had a LV.2 luck bonus active right now. He hoped for high random magnification multipliers, ideally something that could deal critical damage to the devil muscle shark. Opening LV.1 Daily Gift Pack. Obtained common, grade harpoon, common, grade spear, gun. Triggered talent, opening bonus. This opening receives a 39 times magnification. Items upgraded to black, iron grade. Boomerang fine, steel harpoon, sturdy fine, steel spear, gun. Lu Yun was overjoyed by the results. Common, grade, ash, stone, grade, black, iron grade, These were the item tiers within this survival game. The oars, grappling hooks, and fishing rods they started with on the raft were all common grade. Right from the start, he now possessed 2 black, iron, grade pieces of equipment, putting him far ahead of every other survivor. These black, iron, grade items possessed supernatural traits that common, grade gear could never match. Boomerang Fine, Steel Harpoon, grade, black, iron physical attack power, 120 durability, 80/80th special effect. Recall can be summoned back to your hand from within 50 meters range description, effective against both close and distant targets. Sturdy Fine Steel Spear, gun, grade, black, iron physical attack power, 110 durability, 100 out of 100 special effect. Anchor locks firmly inside a target upon impact description. Comes with a 50-meter steel, strong rope for all your needs. Besides their supernatural special effects, their attack stats were impressively high, both exceeding 100 points. Attack and defense were core equipment attributes. 100 physical attack points meant the weapon could deal meaningful damage against creatures with 100 constitution. At 120 attack power, the harpoon would definitely hurt the devil mussel shark. Powerful as the gear was, its actual performance depended heavily on its user. A utility knife could cut a sofa, yet a child might only leave shallow scratches, while an adult could slice straight through it and bring out the knife's full potential. Though there were no explicit stat requirements to wield the equipment, practical user strength still mattered. Still, 2 of the conditions for killing the devil mussel shark were now satisfied. What remained were sound tactics and sufficient character attributes. The girls studied the stats of the 2 weapons and began brainstorming battle plans. Luo Yao turned to Chu Tiantian. Tiantian, will that shark bleed out from wounds? Or is it some special creature that cannot bleed? Faint glowing light flickered in Chu Tiantian's eyes, and beads of sweat formed on her forehead. Activating her talent cost mental and physical stamina, unlike Lu Yun's entirely passive talents. By expending extra energy, her sea god's eyes could uncover more information, so long as her mind and body could hold up. Seeing her strain, Meng Qingfeng activated her Inspire talent. A white light washed over Chu Tiantian, boosting the power of her ability. Moments later, Chu Tiantian swayed slightly, drained from the heavy consumption. Lu Yun reached out and steadied her in his arms. A faint blush rose to her cheeks, yet her gaze was bright and sharp. She nodded firmly at the group, who watched her with worry and anticipation. Cheers erupted. Though their physical ailments were long gone, in this unpredictable world, they all shared the same wish, to thrive and climb to greater heights alongside Lu Yun. With that answer confirmed, Luo Yao smoothed back her hair and spoke seriously. So we use the spear, gun to anchor the shark, and Brother Yun wears it down with the harpoon until it bleeds out. Xia Jiexin nodded with a gentle smile. As long as we hold our own, we can pull this off. The sisters Qingfeng and Yueling looked slightly dejected and muttered softly. It's a shame our talents can't contribute much here. Lu Yun comforted them with a smile. No talent can handle everything. You already helped Tian earlier. He glanced down at their raft. The bleed-out strategy was viable in theory, but only if their raft could hold firm. It had to withstand the shark's assaults and endure the immense pulling force if the beast tried to flee. Their current raft would never survive that strain. Before he could land enough hits, the 7-meter-long devil mussel shark would bite through and capsize them. They needed a major raft upgrade, far more than a basic improvement. There were 5 tiers of raft upgrades: basic, fine, perfect, super, perfect, and the highest tier, heavenly craft. Basic upgrade LV.1 requires 100 wood, 10 rope. Effects: raft area plus 20%, durability plus 20%, defense plus 20%. All members gain 2 free attribute points. Fine upgrade needed twice the resources of a basic upgrade and delivered 50% stronger effects. The top tier heavenly craft upgrade cost 10 times the basic upgrade, 1,000 wood and 100 rope, granting 5 times the basic upgrade's bonuses. With his unique SSS rank talent, Lu Yun aimed straight for heavenly craft. Settling for less would be a waste of his gifts. No one objected to his plan. Xia Jiexin gently took his hand, her tone soft. Xiaoyun, don't push yourself too hard. Lu Yun nodded and looked over at the girls rowing. They lacked far more than just upgrade materials. Most urgent of all was fresh water. The 10 girls manning the oars were drenched in sweat. Their companions fanned and wiped sweat for them, also sweating heavily under the open sun. Lu Yun had little mind for distractions. Survival priorities came first: water, food, shelter, and fire. Fresh water was their most pressing need. Exposed out on the raft, they would not last 3 days without safe drinking water. They were surrounded by ocean, yet seawater was undrinkable, and they lacked materials to build a distillation device. He was sure there had to be ways to gather resources in this game. The system would not simply want all humans from Blue Star dead. Destroying their home planet outright would have been simpler than building this survival game. Opening drifting barrels was surely one way to obtain supplies. As he pondered, Chu Tiantian, who had been resting quietly against him, suddenly lit up and warned urgently. Brother Yun, there is a barrel out on the sea, 500 meters away, drifting toward us. Lu Yun remained calm. It was hardly unexpected. News of the barrel spurred the rowers to exert even more strength. Their constitutions now matched or exceeded average adult men, and the raft sped forward. Soon they spotted the brown seal bobbing on the waves. At 20 meters distance, the barrel stopped drifting closer. They would either have to swim out to retrieve it or reel it in using their starting common, grade grappling hook. Lu Yun was reluctant to go into the ocean unless absolutely necessary. He hefted the grappling hook, familiarized himself with its weight, and threw hard. Boosted by his 38 constitution and 40 spirit for focus and control, the hook struck true on the first try. Under the expectant gazes of the girls, the barrel was hauled aboard. Xia Jixin looked toward Lu Yun and smiled warmly. Xiao Yun, you open it. The rest echoed her, full of anticipation. With his talent, Lu Yun was the obvious person to open containers. Lu Yun rubbed his hands as usual, gripped the barrel lid handle, and flipped it open. White light burst forth from inside, resolving into piles of supplies that clattered onto the deck at his feet. Resource barrel opened. Obtain 1 case of spring water. Your talent activates. This opening receives a 30 times magnification. You obtain 30 cases of spring water. Lu Yun's eyes lit up with delight. Their most critical water shortage had been temporarily solved by a single barrel and his talent's amplification. Each case held 6 large 1.5-liter bottles. 30 cases totaled 180 bottles, enough for all of them to drink freely for 3 days. One barrel had fixed their biggest problem, yet other teams fared far worse. The regional chat channel exploded, especially among captains. Survivor Su Bai, damn it, my luck is terrible. Others get around 5 liters of water from barrels. Bad draws still give 4 liters. I barely scraped 3 liters. That won't even wet everyone's throats. Survivor Fong Yuan, at least you got water. I pulled a case of biscuits. Dareson even eat them, I'll die of thirst. Survivor Lin Mo, our captain's luck is even worse. I risked my life diving to fetch a barrel, and it turned out empty. And he still insists on opening the next ones. Our raft holds 100+ company employees sharing resources. I don't see us lasting long. Survivor He Chong, shut up Lin Mo. If Rian hadn't begged me, I wouldn't even bring you along. If you're unhappy, jump overboard. Survivor Lin Mo, screw you He Chong. You've got a talent, but do nothing. Just bark orders and mess everything up. You only have a lousy F, rank talent, and nothing else. I never should have trusted you. Hand over the captain's position to me, or I'll stop cooperating. You'll get us all killed sooner or later. If we're going to die anyway, better it happens fast instead of dragging out the suffering. Survivor Lu Ruyan, Lin Mo, be quiet. He Chong has his own plans. Don't drag us all down with your death wish. Apologize to him right now. Lu Yun frowned reading the messages. That short exchange hinted at messy interpersonal drama. The girls also read the chat and reacted with amused laughter, speculating over the chaotic conflicts unfolding elsewhere. Their values and life experience made it hard for them to comprehend such behavior. Amid their banter, they sorted through key observations. 1. Everyone was roughly at the same starting progress. All groups spotted their first barrel at nearly the same time, regardless of rowing speed, and only 1 barrel spawned for each group. 2. Barrel loot was random. Even for identical item types, quantities varied widely. Good water rolls gave roughly 5 liters, bad ones around 3 liters. Lu Yun's boosted luck was extraordinary. Even without magnification, his barrel had yielded 9 liters of spring water. Multiplied 30-fold, it totaled 180 liters. Cases of water littered the raft's deck, so they set to organizing them to avoid running out of standing room. Xia Jixin directed everyone, stacking the cases neatly. They opened 1 case to give drinking water to the rowers, to exhausted Chu Tiantian, and also to Lu Yun. Raised by hardship, the girls instinctively valued conservation. They saved the empty barrel and cardboard packaging for future use. Those not rowing chose to hold back and only sip water when absolutely necessary. Lu Yun felt bad seeing them restrain themselves. He ripped open several cartons and pressed a bottle into every person's hands. There's no need to ration so strictly. We got so much from 1 barrel, and we'll gain more later, more than enough for all of us. Drink freely, take big sips. Faced with his earnest tone, Xia Jiexin could not refuse. None of the girls could. Back in the orphanage, they used to hold back on food to ease the burden on the institution, yet whenever Lu Yun spoke to them like this, they would obey and eat properly instead of starving themselves. They smiled sweetly, unscrewed their bottles, took a good drink, then capped them carefully to save for later. Yi Xiaoqiong, who always stayed close to Lu Yun, held up her bottle expectantly. Brother Yun, you drink too. Lu Yun took it and drank a large mouthful. Yi Xiaoqiong took it back happily and took several big gulps in quick succession. Xia Jiexin raised an eyebrow at the sight. Lu Yun looked around their raft. Piled up water supplies made the space feel cramped. Water was handled for now, so food became their next priority. Short-term hunger was survivable, yet prolonged lack of nourishment would drain their strength. In emergencies, low stamina would leave them unable to flee or seize opportunities. It was vital for everyone to maintain good physical condition. Other teams could only afford to keep a handful of elite fighters well fed, letting everyone else scrape by on bare minimums. Lu Yun would never do that. Thanks to his talent, his gains dwarfed everyone else's. He intended to keep every single member of his team in peak condition. In this game, he would not merely keep them alive, he would give them a good life. To gather materials for raft upgrades, they needed to open more drifting barrels. Unfortunately, barrels were spawned by the system, and no one knew when the next batch would arrive. After 3 rotation shifts and over an hour of rowing, the second wave of barrels finally appeared. According to the chat channel, not all groups encountered them at the same time. Teams that rowed slowly, argued constantly, or slacked off had yet to spot this batch. Only diligent groups like theirs saw them now. 3 barrels drifted in from separate directions, farther away than the first one. Unlike the beginner-friendly first barrel, these would drift away forever if they failed to catch them quickly. Retrieving them demanded real effort. The first barrel had practically been handed to them as new player welfare. Lu Yun was more than up to the task. He threw his grappling hook with perfect accuracy each time. Muscles tensed in his arms as he hauled the heavy barrels in, and the girls pulled them onto the raft. All 3 were secured in under 3 minutes. Meanwhile, other survivors were only just catching glimpses of the barrels in the distance. Barrels spawned identically for everyone, but encounter timings depended on how fast each team advanced. The harder you rowed, the sooner you found supplies. Putting that information aside, Lu Yun rubbed his hands and opened the 3 barrels one after another. System notifications chimed non-stop. Unboxing success. This barrel unboxing grants a 15 times amplification. 4 gene of sugar oranges have been amplified to 60 gene of sugar oranges. Unboxing success. This barrel unboxing grants a 40 times amplification. 1 crate of pineapple bread has been amplified to 40 crates of pineapple bread. Unboxing success. This barrel unboxing grants a 50 times amplification. 1 dose of high-grade adrenaline has been amplified to 1 vial of primary gene enhancement serum. Round 2 of unboxing. Now they had fruit and plenty of food. There was more than enough to feed him and the 36 girls for several full days. Though the selection was still somewhat limited, opening just a few barrels had solved their food and water shortages for the time being. Things would surely keep getting better. For a moment, Lu Yun even thought they were living more comfortably in this survival game than they had back on Blue Star. Crates of pineapple bread shrank the available space on the raft once again. They had to be stacked high. On the choppy sea, the raft rocked violently, and the towering stacks looked ready to topple over at any second. Sisters Lu Yuxian and Lu Yuyin stepped forward to act as living barriers, bracing the precious supplies with their bodies to keep them from tumbling into the ocean. Lu Yuxian was the elder sister, Lu Yuyin the younger. At the age of 3, they had been left on the doorstep of an orphanage due to congenital heart conditions. Back then, Lu Yun and Xia Jiexin had spent a great deal of effort looking after the 2 girls. Fortunately, the sisters had grown into fine young women. They were sensible and hard working, and on Blue Star their academic performance put them on track for top-tier universities. Their looks spoke for themselves. Both Lu Yuxian and Lu Yuyin possessed a classical, cool-toned beauty. They carried an ethereal aura that drew people's gaze, yet kept others from disturbing them, as if she sure had returned to life. Author's note regarding Lu Yuyin's character art. I will not go into excessive physical descriptions for her, existing characters, or future cast members. Detailed appearance passages grow tedious to read, and I tend to skim past them myself. It suffices to know they are breathtakingly beautiful. No amount of prose compares to a visual reference. Readers may share suitable artwork in the comments. Before using the perfect card, both sisters had a charm rating of 114 points. Now their charm stood at 119. The single missing point might stem from sub-optimal pet care. Quiet and reserved by nature, Lu Yuxian and Lu Yuyin strained to keep their footing on the swaying raft as they propped up the supplies. They sought no praise, simply gazing silently toward Lu Yun. When they caught him looking back and offering a smile, faint smiles tugged at both of their lips. Lu Yun glanced over the raft again. Expanding it had become an urgent priority. With any more supplies, there would be barely room to move around. He had never expected supplies from merely 3 barrels, amplified by his bonus, to leave them short on storage space. The primary gene, enhancement serum obtained from the 50-fold amplification of the high-grade adrenaline, was no ordinary item. Primary gene, enhancement serum, special item description, a rare substance that optimizes and activates genes to boost the user's physical capabilities. Effects. First use grants +10 to all attributes. Second use yields half the effect. Third use produces no result. Without needing to discuss it, everyone urged Lu Yun to consume it immediately. Lu Yun did not hesitate. His stats were the key to defeating the devil muscle shark. He twisted off the cap and drank the bright, blue serum down in one gulp. Thanks to his already high base stats, he felt only a warm sensation throughout his body, no discomfort at all. Merely a pleasant surge of amplified physical power and mental clarity. After the enhancement, he opened his status panel. Constitution, 58, Spirit, 60. With his black, iron harpoon and spear in hand, once the raft completed its heavenly craft upgrade, they could launch their hunt for the devil muscle shark. Having finished salvaging the 3 barrels, the raft set sail once more. Lu Yun cast the 2 starting fishing rods into the sea, extravagantly using crumbs of pineapple bread as bait. 1 crate held 30 loaves. 40 crates amounted to 1,200 loaves, enough to feed the group for at least 5 days, enough that they would grow sick of pineapple bread. Rather than let surplus food take up precious storage space, he would make full use of it. He hoped to catch a fish and see whether it would fill his level 0 experience bar. The constant rowing produced no bites for quite some time. Lu Yun assigned someone to keep watch over the lines. Refusing to be pushed off rowing duty again, he seized an oar from a rotating crew member and began rowing with all his strength. Xia Jiexin sat beside him, gently wiping sweat from his brow. Yi Xiaoqiong tore open a cardboard box and fanned him vigorously, working up a sweat of her own. 3 hours later, Lu Yun set down his oar. Boosted by his high constitution and talent-based stamina bonuses, only now did his arms begin to ache. Everyone take a break. Time to eat. Lu Yun clapped his hands, calling the group to halt. Xia Jiexin led Meng Qingfeng and Meng Yueling to fetch water, bread, and citrus fruit, distributing portions to every person aboard. Even with rotating shifts, the strenuous rowing had worn everyone out. Crew members massaged one another's sore muscles. They drank deep and bit heartily into their bread, satisfied smiles spreading across their faces. Seeing how easily these girls found happiness filled Lu Yun with a strong sense of accomplishment. Chu Tiantian ate her bread quietly. Her striking purple dual pupils scanned the open sea ahead. Every so often she glanced toward Lu Yun, then returned to her watch with quiet contentment. Half an hour passed since their meal when Chu Tiantian's eyes sharpened, and she spoke up at once. Brother Yun, the next wave of barrels is incoming. They will reach us in 20 minutes. This batch contains 27 barrels. From what I've detected, these are the last drifting barrels for today. At her warning, the resting group snapped to full alert, ready for work. Lu Yun's eyes lit up. If they looted 3 to 5 barrels of lumber and 1 or 2 barrels of rope out of these 27, combined with his talent bonus, they would almost certainly gather the materials required for the first heavenly craft upgrade. According to information compiled from global chat channels, many teams had already obtained lumber and rope. On average, 1 barrel yielded 8 units of lumber. Lucky pulls could net 12 or more. With his good fortune, he expected 15 or more per barrel. 3 barrels might suffice, and 5 at worst. Roughly 3 lengths of rope came from each barrel. 1 lucky barrel could satisfy the requirement, or 2 at most. The raft upgrade was nearly within reach. Fortunately, the 27 barrels drifted toward them in successive groups rather than all at once. Had they arrived together, even Lu Yun would have missed many. None of the women on board knew how to swim due to their physical conditions. Relying solely on grappling hooks and Lu Yun diving into the sea, a massive influx would inevitably mean lost barrels. The first group held 10 barrels. 10 minutes later, all 10 had been hauled aboard without loss. The first barrel they pried open held lumber. 15 units. With the 30-fold amplification, that became 450 units. Nearly half the lumber requirement for Heavenly Craft upgrade was fulfilled in one go. Thankfully, base materials such as lumber and rope functioned like in-game currency, stored numerically in the survival handbook and withdrawable on demand. Otherwise, 450 physical planks would have sunk the raft. They broke open the remaining barrels. Luck stayed on their side. 2 more lumber barrels and 2 rope barrels. Their total stock now stood at 1,501 units of lumber and 132 lengths of rope. The Heavenly Craft upgrade required 1,000 lumber and 100 rope. All conditions were met. Lu Yun barely spared a glance for the other loot. He pulled up the Captain Authority panel on his survival handbook and selected the Heavenly Craft upgrade option. The moment he confirmed, a grand heavenly announcement boomed, and resource numbers shifted. Lumber, 501. Rope, 32. You have initiated level 1 Heavenly Craft upgrade for your raft. Lumber, 1,000. Rope, 100. Resources consumed. Upgrade commencing. Bright white light washed over them. The raft beneath their feet underwent a dramatic transformation, its edges expanding out of thin air. Soon its surface area had doubled, expanding from 10 m times 20 m to 13.34 m times 30 m. Every log took on a dark metallic sheen, and the hull's defensive capability increased drastically. As the upgrade finished, 4 successive notifications rang in Lu Yun's ears. 1 universal heavenly announcement, 1 talent, triggered notice, and 2 handbook alerts. Universal heavenly announcement. Congratulations to survivor Lu Yun of Zone 9527 for completing the world's first level 1 Heavenly Craft raft upgrade. Rewards granted. 1 times Vessel Holy Trait card. 1 times A Rank Talent card. Your talent's Heavenly Reward Amplification activates. Rewards boosted 50-fold. You receive 1 times Vessel Mythic Trait card. 1 times S Rank Talent card. Your vessel has completed level 1 Heavenly Craft upgrade. Hull area plus 100%. Hull defense plus 100%. Hull durability plus 100%. You and all crew members gain 10 free attribute points each. A Heavenly Craft grade vessel has appeared in this zone. Zone specific trade channel is now open. Every survivor across all zones heard the broadcast. Shock rippled through countless chat channels, messages flooding non-stop. It had barely been 5 hours. How could someone pull off the notoriously difficult Heavenly Craft upgrade so quickly? Many stared at their own meager double-digit lumber stock and the steep upgrade requirements. 1,000 lumber and 100 rope. Could that really be gathered in a single day without a trade channel? It felt like cheating. Most survivors had scraped together only dozens of lumber units through grueling labor. The gap between individuals was staggering. In Zone 5000, a stern-faced middle-aged man narrowed his eyes and turned to his aide. How far are we from Heavenly Craft upgrade? Sir, our soldiers have rowed non-stop. We have salvaged 31 barrels, opened by our soldier with the A-rank fortune talent. We hold 506 lumber and 72 rope. Food and water will barely sustain us for 1 more day. According to barrel drop information, no more barrels will spawn today. We can finish the upgrade tomorrow when barrels reset. Once upgraded, with our other soldiers' A-rank lightning talent, we can pursue far more opportunities. The middle-aged man nodded calmly. Good work. Do not overtax the men. The priority is keeping foreign competitors from claiming first place. Lu Yun may well be Blue Star's sole S-rank talent bearer. That is a great fortune for our Dragon Nation. Over in Zone 26201, blonde-haired Smith flew into a rage. Damn it. How could someone move this fast? I've only opened 16 barrels. All of you slackers are to blame. His subordinates seethed inwardly but dared not protest. Smith possessed an A-rank flame talent. Others had already learned its power. Though not instantly lethal, the fire left painful burns even after diving into the sea. Those who resisted had been stripped of raft access by Captain Authority. In this harsh survival world, untreated severe injuries were tantamount to death, perhaps even worse. Many survivors cursed their misfortune. The one in $100 million talent had fallen to Smith. They had been exploited by capitalists back on Blue Star, and now they suffered the same fate in this deadly game. In Zone 9526, Meng Xuaning stood draped in scarlet ancient style robes, radiating bewitching grace. She led a team made up of her former students. The Meng family's exceptional lineage showed clearly. She too bore an A-rank talent. Hearing the global announcement, she whispered to herself, "Is that you, Yin? Please stay safe, all of you." Chat channels in Lu Yun's own zone 9527 erupted as well. Everyone speculated on the identity of this Lu Yun cross, referencing known survivor groups. Holy cow, I missed out on an absolute powerhouse. Master, please show yourself so we can admire your luck. Could it be that crew with one man and all female members? I overheard them calling their leader Brother Yun. That guy fights incredibly well. He crushed an E-rank talent user. What a mischance when our paths crossed. Survivor Leon Yun commented, don't get carried away. Plenty of people have Yun in their name. Raw fighting power means nothing. He cannot row 10 oars with 20 hands. That group's women all seemed physically frail. They might not even have encountered a second barrel wave. Guys, did you notice? The Master's upgrade unlocked our zone's trade channel. I see it. Some people are utterly delusional. 100 milliliters of water for 15 lumber? Someone ought to wake them up. Lu Yun paid no mind to the outside commotion. The women monitoring the chat channels had already informed him about the trade channel's activation. Yet it held little practical value for now. No one faced immediate mortal peril, so survivors guarded their precious resources jealously. Outrageous asking prices filled the channel. Without established rules, the market remained chaotic. Trading would only become worthwhile later, once supply and demand stabilized and this survival game economic system matured. For now, Lu Yun focused on reviewing the spoils from the heavenly craft upgrade. Each crew member received 10 free attribute points. Chu Tiantian, Meng Qingfeng, and Meng Yueling invested theirs into spirit, fitting their skill sets. Everyone else poured points into constitution. Fighting the devil muscle shark lay ahead, and physical resilience mattered far more than mental stats for most of them. After allocation, Lu Yun's constitution reached an imposing 78. Stat increases were secondary, however. The true prize came from his amplified heavenly rewards, 1 S rank talent card and 1 mythic vessel trait card. An S rank talent card could grant an untalented person a brand new S rank talent or promote any sub S rank talent up to S rank. Unlocking a second S rank talent required 10 S rank talent cards for someone who already possessed one. A rank talents occurred at roughly 1 in 100 million odds. With Blue Star's 100 billion population, roughly 100 A rank talents ought to exist. S rank and higher talents were far rarer, requiring extraordinary fate, natural aptitude, and rare opportunities combined. Even the global first heavenly craft upgrade only rewarded an A rank talent card originally. Lu Yun's special talent amplification had elevated it to S rank. 1 in 10 billion was a generous estimate for natural S rank awakenings. Apart from Lu Yun himself, Blue Star might have 0 naturally born S rank talent holders. Chu Tiantian's S rank sea gods I had come from the special perfect card. Without that item, even she would have needed an S rank talent card, and would likely have obtained a different power. The value of this S rank talent card could not be overstated. Lu Yun's first thought was to give it to Xia Jixin. It was not favoritism. As the elder sister figure caring for the whole group, she was the most fitting recipient. Luo Yao and the rest bore no resentment. Everyone looked towards Xia Jixin, hoping their group's matriarch would claim the first S rank talent. Xia Jixin met their gazes, glanced at the card in her palm, smiled gently, and pressed it into Luo Yao's hands. Give it to Luo Yao. Whether back at the orphanage or in this world, besides Yun, she has worked the hardest and pushed herself the farthest. She contributes the most, so she deserves it. We can save the next one for me. Lu Yun did not intervene further. Offering it first to Xia Jixin had been out of respect for her standing among the group. How she chose to allocate it was her call, and overriding her would be genuine favoritism. Luo Yao was indeed worthy. She rode relentlessly, sifted through mountains of chat, channel information, and completed complex analysis. She kept Lu Yun supplied with processed intelligence, so he only needed to make final decisions. Her mind and body were perpetually overworked. Luo Yao stared at the card placed in her grasp. She wanted to protest that she only appeared so capable because she had no chronic physical ailments. Every other girl pushed themselves just as hard, and many fought through far greater bodily hardship. In particular, Sister Xia suffered from multiple congenital illnesses and needed to take traditional Chinese medicine all year round. The constant bitter taste of the medicine often made others subconsciously keep their distance from her. Yet she never shed a single tear in front of everyone. Steadfast and gentle, she acted as the eldest sister of the group. Together with Grandma and the mature, sensible brother Yun, she looked after everyone living on the raft, caring for the younger girls who used to cry and throw tantrums when they were little. But facing Xia Jixin's gentle, unyielding gaze, her authority as the eldest sister prevailed, leaving her unable to refuse. The other girls also looked toward her, their eyes full of anticipation and encouragement. No one thought Xia Jixin's decision was unfair. In the end, Luo Yao made up her mind to use the card. Those who possess special talents ought to stand on the front lines when danger arose. Brother Yun could not shoulder all the risks alone, and the gentle sister Xia should not be forced into harm's way either. She would take on this dangerous role. Right after using the talent card, Luo Yao's eyes lit up with delight. It seemed her awakening result was remarkably good. She immediately shared her talent information with everyone. Talent, Luo Shun S. Rank effect. Gain the ability to control and generate water, consumes mental energy and stamina. Water-based ability power increased by 500%. When within or near a body of water, physical constitution, mental power, and water energy attributes double. After reading the talent description, all the girls gasped in surprise. It was a pure combat-oriented talent tied to water. In this ocean survival world, a water-attuned talent was incredibly powerful, equivalent to raising one's overall strength by nearly half. Coupled with the doubled attributes near water, Luo Yao's stats at sea became Constitution, 44, Mental Power, 30. Without exaggeration, Luo Yao's combat strength was now close to Lu Yun's. Lu Yun's talent was not purely combat-focused. It was an all-round ability that still required time to grow. Until he gained more skills or upgraded his attribute amplification to higher levels, he could not guarantee victory over Luo Yao on the open sea if he failed to close the distance quickly. More importantly, Luo Yao's S-rank talent allowed her to create water, including fresh drinking water. The value of this ability in ocean survival was immeasurable. With her current stats, she could produce 7.4 liters of drinkable fresh water per day. While not enough to fully supply the whole team for long-term use, it marked the first step towards securing a stable water supply for their future. Once Luo Yao finished showing her talent, she looked excitedly at Xia Jixin and received a soft, supportive smile in return. Then she turned to Lu Yun, her eyes sparkling, acting unusually shy. Lu Yun smiled gently and ruffled her hair. "Yao Yao, you're amazing. Now you can fight alongside me." Satisfied, Luo Yao smiled and hurried to the edge of the raft. She enthusiastically discussed ways to use her talent with the other curious girls while testing her power over the seawater to get accustomed to her new abilities. If an S-rank talent card was this formidable, the mythic trait card was equally extraordinary. In some ways, it was even more precious. S-rank talent cards only empowered a single individual, but a mythic trait card benefited the entire team, granting the raft a permanent mythic trait. After upgrading the raft, new information appeared in everyone's survivor handbook, including entries about vessel traits. Chu Tiantian's Sea God's eyes revealed even more detailed knowledge. Once a raft was upgraded, trait cards could be used to unlock various abilities for it. One new trait slot became available at every raft level. Different traits granted the vessel unique capabilities. Traits were ranked from lowest to highest: common, fine, excellent, superior, epic, legendary, sacred, mythic. Trait cards could only be obtained by completing specific achievements. Full server first completions of each tier of Heavenly Craft upgrades rewarded a sacred trait card. The next 10 teams to complete the same upgrade after the first would receive legendary trait cards. All subsequent upgrades yielded only epic trait cards. There were also rewards for lesser achievements. Perfect premium first completions were not limited to a single team. Every region's first perfect premium upgrade granted an epic trait card. Perfect premium upgrades completed after the first only rewarded random excellent or superior trait cards. Ordinary perfect and refined upgrades carried no first completion rewards but could produce random excellent/fine and fine/common trait cards respectively. Standard upgrades gave no rewards at all. Lu Yun had no hesitation about using the mythic trait card he had obtained. Mythic trait cards were rare rewards seldom bestowed by the world's rules, and there was no reason to hold on to it. He pressed the card directly onto the upgraded raft. Mythic trait card used successfully. Generating a mythic trait for your vessel. Trait generation complete. You have obtained the trait Swiftness. He opened the raft status panel. Level 1 Heavenly Craft Raft. Area, 13.3 m times 30 m defense. 20 durability. 200 traits. Swiftness mythic rank. Movement speed plus 500%. Stability plus 500%. Maneuverability plus 500%. All negative effects generated by movement are greatly reduced. This single trait included 3 major percentage bonuses alongside a special passive effect. The passive drastically lessened all movement-related drawbacks such as wind resistance and inertia. The practical advantages were immense. Even if the raft traveled at supersonic speeds, the group could sit openly on the bow playing cards without a single card being blown away. The importance of improved stability and maneuverability spoke for itself. Higher maneuverability boosted control and turning performance, ensuring the raft was not merely fast but clumsy. Combined with the passive effect, the massive vessel might even be able to execute sharp 90-degree turns while traveling at high speed. Five-fold increased stability calmed the constantly rocking raft that had once made everyone queasy and unsteady on their feet. While it was not perfectly smooth like standing on land, it no longer caused severe seasickness. Just one mythic trait transformed the raft entirely, setting it worlds apart from its previous form. Lu Yun could not help looking forward to the first Level 2 Heavenly Craft upgrade. The first team to reach Level 2 Heavenly Craft would receive another sacred trait card from the world's rules. Amplified by his talent, it would likely become another mythic trait card. If one mythic trait was this powerful, what would two be capable of? A bold ambition took shape in his mind, to build a supreme vessel equipped entirely with mythic traits. He checked the requirements for Level 2 Heavenly Craft upgrade: 3,000 timber, 300 rope, and 30 ironwood logs. Timber and rope should be easy to gather. They would likely collect enough by the time all floating barrels were recovered tomorrow. Ironwood, however, was a greystone, tier special timber and harder to acquire. He needed to trigger a precisely controlled quality amplification to turn ordinary timber into ironwood, rather than black iron tier lumber. Lu Yun had never imagined there would be moments where he hoped his amplification multiplier would not grow too large. Now that the raft was upgraded, they still held 501 timber, enough for repairs. With Luo Yao's new S-rank talent in hand, the operation to hunt the pursuer could officially begin. Lu Yun turned to Chu Tiantian. Tiantian, can your talent still tell how far the devil muscle shark is from us? Chu Tiantian's eyes glowed faintly as she activated her ability, then nodded softly. If we stop rowing, it is 5 hours away. They had rowed continuously for over 4 hours only to widen the gap by 2 hours. Other teams hearing this would be overwhelmed by pressure. Human stamina faded over time. Without sufficient food and fresh water, no one could maintain maximum effort rowing endlessly. Simply keeping the monster from closing in would count as a victory for most. Lu Yun, however, had abandoned the idea of fleeing. He planned to hunt the shark instead. According to the information Chu Tiantian had uncovered, the first team in the whole server to slay the monster would receive generous rewards from the world's rules. Having earned such a reward once before, Lu Yun knew how valuable the prize would be. Thanks to the newly acquired swiftness trait, everyone decided not to row. If they moved the raft even a short distance, the devil muscle shark might not arrive until the next day. Lu Yun did not underestimate the other survivors. Some teams might possess unusual abilities such as self-sacrificial talents. If another team claimed the first kill, he would have no way to reverse it. Therefore, the group agreed to let the raft drift with the current. They conserved energy, discussed various scenarios and contingency plans for the upcoming battle, and waited patiently for the shark to arrive. The ocean survival world operated on a unified clock displayed in the Survivor Handbook. They had arrived at 7 o'clock in the morning. After over 4 hours of rowing plus meals and rest, the time was now 12 noon. The shark would arrive at 5 in the afternoon, leaving them to fight in daylight rather than darkness. While waiting, all floating barrels drifting nearby were retrieved. Several clusters drifted over at once, yet Lu Yun did not need to dive into the water to collect a single one. With greatly enhanced attributes, Luo Yao and Yi Xiaoqiao's talents made gathering barrels effortless. Luo Yao merely waved her hand, summoning waves to guide barrels toward the raft. Barrels outside her range were handled by Yi Xiaoqiao. Her talent covered an extensive area. Her seawater combat rabbit puppet, with 19 constitution, easily pushed barrels within Luo Yao's reach. Eventually, Lu Yun did not even need to use his grappling hook. Counting barrels collected earlier, they looted 8 more batches of basic resources. Their total timber rose to 2,106 units, and rope reached 163 lengths. 10 barrels contained food and drinks. After amplification, they obtained 20 crates of cola, 60 crates of water, 90 beef burgers, 180 self-heating rice packs in 3 flavors, 100 self-heating hot pots, and 23 bunches of bananas. The 2 most valuable barrels held 2 primary genetic enhancement potions. Lu Yun would take one, and the other would go to Luo Yao, their other core combatant. After consuming the potions, Lu Yun's constitution reached 88 and mental power hit 70. With 88 constitution, if he possessed water combat abilities, he believed he could face the shark one-armed only with his black iron fish spear. Luo Yao's constitution climbed to 64 and mental power to 50. Supported by Meng Qingfeng's inspiration buff, she could deal formidable damage even without specialized equipment. 3 final barrels contained equipment and items. After amplification, they yielded 1 black iron, tier agile advanced grappling hook, 1 greystone, tier protective sunshade, and 40 ordinary fishing rods. Though still common grade, these rods were far superior to the 2 bamboo poles they started with, crafted as modern industrial goods. The agile advanced grappling hook featured auto targeting and a 100-meter rope length, perfect for collecting floating barrels. Unfortunately, they had finished gathering barrels already, so they stored it to trade for other valuable items later. Even black iron, tier equipment could receive upgraded attributes on the first day of survival. The girls monitoring the trade channel kept an eye out for rare goods being exchanged. The sunshade proved immediately useful. Protective sunshade, rank, greystone, tier effect, rest recovery speed under the umbrella plus 10%, ambient temperature reduced by 0.5 degrees Celsius. Description: automatically installs onto rafts. Excels at blocking sunlight and rain while offering mild cooling. It was large enough to shelter everyone and several crates of water, solving their biggest problem: constant exposure to blazing midday sun. The scorching midday sunlight was no trivial threat. Once all barrels were collected, the group gathered under the sunshade to cool down. They drank chilled cola and ate burgers rarely available to them, chatting cheerfully without any trace of anxiety. 3 hours later, a message on the regional chat channel sent a chill through every survivor. Many people slacking off on their rafts suddenly strained to row harder. Everyone woke to a stark realization: death was chasing them. The team count on the leaderboard had fallen from 205 to 204. The first fully eliminated team had appeared, the group consisting of Lin Mo, Lu Rian, and He Chong. Information shared in the chat painted a clear picture. He Chong owned an F-rank talent, but acted recklessly and stirred up strife. Lu Rian was overly demanding and difficult to cooperate with. Lin Mo, the only capable member, tended toward caution. When pushed aside by his teammates, he only retreated with his loyal followers instead of confronting the conflict. Chaotic orders and deliberate inaction slowed their raft significantly. The devil muscle shark caught up, wiping out the whole team. Before they perished, the 3 left their final messages. Survivor, Lin Mo: guys, I'm going to die, haha. I'm glad I get to drag those 2 terrible people down with me. Let me share some information. The pursuer monster is a black iron, tier devil muscle shark. Its appearance is terrifying. I don't know its exact stats. Our raft had the same base defense and durability as everyone else's. The original 15 by 30 meter raft lost 1/10 of its surface from a single bite. We used 13 timber for repairs, buying us time to survive 3 more bites. Our sailing speed was slow. I only just spotted the first wave of the 3rd batch of floating barrels. You can estimate the shark's speed from this, assuming all sharks began at the same starting point. Well, goodbye. I hope I can return to Blue Planet. If I get another chance, I will never hold back again. I will make those 2 pay for everything. Survivor, He Chong: Lin Mo, damn you. I will never forgive you, even as a ghost. Survivor, Lu Rian: sob, I'm sorry, Lin Mo. When danger came, He Chong tried to push me into the sea. You pulled me back. I realize now that you are the one I care about. Can you forgive me after we die? Survivor, Deng Long too. Wow. Turns out messages have no word limit. Since I'm bored, I'm going to post a serial story to entertain everyone trapped in this depressing ocean. Free to read. Don't harass me if you don't like it. Anyone who enjoys it can tip me a little fresh water if you want. People debated the messy drama between the 3 team members and analyzed the clues hidden in Lin Mo's message. His words served as a harsh warning to all survivors. A single bite destroying 45 square meters of raft spoke to the monster's terrifying power. Firearms might prove useless against it. Row. They would row without rest or meals. Anyone caught slacking would be thrown overboard. Resources were tight, and removing uncooperative members might be necessary to survive. Many team captains hardened their resolve. In this brutal world, mercy might cost them their lives. Lu Yun analyzed Lin Mo's account. His level 1 heavenly craft raft was far sturdier. 1 bite would not destroy such a large section. With over 2,100 timber in reserve, they could keep repairing the raft until the shark was defeated. Confidence rose among everyone on the raft. Nearly 2 more hours passed before the devil mussel shark appeared on the horizon. It matched Chu Tiantian's earlier vision. Its body was covered in muscle tissue resembling human flesh, creating a grotesque sight. Lu Yun and the girl stood at once. Lu Yun gripped his fish spear, with Luo Yao beside him ready to offer support. Chu Tiantian held her fish gun, prepared to strike weak points. The other girls stood beside her, ready to coordinate their strength to hold their position. Yi Xiaoqiao's wooden rabbit puppet hid nearby, waiting to launch a surprise attack. The entire team stood ready for battle. The devil mussel shark charged straight toward their raft. Its tail fin slammed against the sea, sending waves surging outward. At 7 meters long, it resembled a massive vehicle hurtling toward them. Facing such a monster for their first real battle, the girls paled slightly. Even Lu Yun's palms grew damp with sweat. No matter how steady his mentality, he had once been an ordinary person. He could not remain completely unaffected. This foe was entirely different from the troublemakers he had dealt with back home. It was a genuine monster. If he felt nervous, the girls who had never fought anyone naturally felt even more anxious. Still, no one faltered. Despite their tension, none showed any desire to retreat. A clear, soothing bell tone suddenly rang out, calming restless hearts. Meng Yueling summoned an exquisite bell in her hand and shook it. Its gentle chime washed over everyone. Most of their nervousness faded away, allowing them to stay focused and execute their battle plans against the shark's assaults. This was the power of her talent, Bell of Calm. Crack! When the devil mussel shark reached the raft, it opened its enormous jaws and bit down hard, tearing away a section of the raft. Unlike the 45 square meters lost by Lin Mo's team, their level 1 Heavenly Craft raft only lost 25 square meters. With access permissions granted by Lu Yun, Xia Jixin spent merely 3 units of timber to restore the damaged section instantly. Confusion flickered across the shark's face, quickly replaced by savage rage as it lunged in for another bite. At that moment, Lu Yun moved. Knowing the exact range of the shark's attack thanks to Chu Tiantian's scouting, he charged forward with his steel fish spear. Boosted by the raft's massive stability bonus and his precise control granted by 70 mental power, he barely felt the rocking waves caused by the shark's collision. He crossed the raft smoothly and reached the shark just as its jaws clamped onto the wood. He drove the fish spear downward with full force. Fueled by 88 constitution, the steel spear's 120 attack power struck home. It pierced the shark's thick hide and sank deep into its skull, penetrating half a meter into its head. Blood gushed like a fountain from the wound. Chu Tiantian had identified this spot as the shark's critical weak point and major blood vessel, the location that would cause the heaviest bleeding. Yet the devil mussel shark seemed oblivious to its injury. It thrashed violently, growing even more ferocious. When the maddened shark snapped its jaws toward Lu Yun's position, he did not overstay. Following his pre-planned retreat, he stepped back just in time. The shark's bite only tore off another chunk of the raft. The destroyed raft was instantly repaired by Xia Jixin. For a moment, the devil mussel shark could not even break through the first line of defense. Meanwhile, Lu Yun seized every opening. Each time the devil mussel shark attacked and fell into a brief recovery stun, he charged forward and thrust his trident. It was essentially trading lumber for the monster's health. Stuck in this stalemate and realizing it could only take damage, the devil mussel shark prepared to dive, hoping to overturn the raft from underneath. But the group was far from unprepared. Everything proceeded according to their prearranged battle plan. Through Chu Tiantian's Eye of the Sea God, every movement of the devil mussel shark lay bare before her. They had drafted contingency plans for exactly this scenario. A spear gun fired immediately. The bolt buried itself deep in the devil mussel shark, which had no room to evade at such close range. Thanks to the spear gun's secure effect, the projectile remained firmly embedded in its body. 30 young women with an average constitution stat of 20 hauled on the thick rope attached to the spear gun as if pulling in a tug of war, drastically slowing the shark's descent. Having received the warning, Lu Yao, who had long been ready, unleashed her talent. She reached out her hands toward the empty air. Ropes formed from seawater rose on both sides of the devil mussel shark, coiling tightly around it to restrain its movements. Beside Lu Yao, Meng Qingfeng pushed her inspire talent to its limits, amplifying the power of Lu Yao's ability. As a result, the seawater ropes took on a distinct hue separate from the surrounding ocean, their toughness comparable to steel chains. Seizing this chance, Lu Yun fearlessly rushed forward once more, stabbing repeatedly at the shark's ferocious head. The devil mussel shark thrashed and roared in unbridled rage. Taking advantage of the chaos, a small wooden rabbit puppet slipped into the shark's gaping maw. Yi Xiaoqiao controlled the puppet to launch attacks from within the devil muscle shark's intestines. In just 3 seconds, Lu Yun landed 8 strikes. By then, the shark had finally disposed of the combat puppet inside its body and clamped its jaws shut, struggling harder than ever to break free from Lu Yao's restraints. The devil muscle shark's 100-point constitution stat was no trivial matter. Its vitality was astonishing. It endured all those stabs without dying and continued to snap the seawater chains one after another. Fortunately, the ocean stretched all around them, allowing Lu Yao to generate new restraints continuously without excessive energy expenditure. Lu Yun exerted all his strength, no longer aiming for specific weak points. Standing at the raft's edge, he drove his trident deep into the shark's body blow after blow. Soon, the sea surrounding their raft turned crimson with spreading blood. The devil muscle shark finally began to weaken. Recognizing it could not defeat its opponents, it turned to flee. Chu Tiantian detected this intention at once and shouted, "Watch out! It's trying to escape." Excitement lit up every woman's face upon hearing the warning. None paid mind to the raw blisters covering their hands. Victory was within reach. Lu Yao and Meng Qingfeng drained their stamina and mental power to conjure new seawater chains, locking down the shark's movement. Lu Yun gripped his trident tightly and hurled it toward the devil muscle shark. The beast had broken free of the seawater chains in a final burst of desperate strength and swam several meters away. Even without diving into the sea, Lu Yun could still strike the roaming monster. Tethered by the spear gun and residual seawater bindings, the devil muscle shark could neither dive deep nor dodge the incoming attack. The trident sank deep into its flesh once again. The trident's return ability activated, pulling the weapon back into Lu Yun's grasp, only to be thrown out anew. The devil muscle shark was reduced to nothing more than a stationary target. Yi Xiaoqiao controlled newly formed seawater rabbit puppets to climb onto the shark's body, clawing and biting ferociously at the wounds left by Lu Yun's trident strikes. Whenever the shark opened its jaws, a puppet would not hesitate to dart inside, launching self-destructive assaults from within. Destroyed puppets were quickly replaced by new seawater rabbit constructs emerging from the waves to rejoin the battle. The seemingly endless horde was maddening for the monster to contend with. The Tier 1 Divine Craft Raft was sturdy enough. It was dragged across the water by the shark, yet it never capsized. An ordinary starter raft would have overturned long ago. As time passed, the waters around Lu Yun's group grew ever redder, the stain expanding outward until hundreds of meters of ocean became a sea of blood. Having lost so much blood, the devil muscle shark was wounded severely both inside and out, its condition deteriorating drastically. At last, the giant shark's strength failed completely. It rolled onto its back, floating motionless on the waves. In that instant, the grand, resonant voice of Heavenly Tao echoed across all regions for the second time that day. Global Heavenly Tao announcement. Congratulations to Lu Yun from Region 9527 and his team for securing the world's first kill against a newcomer zone pursuer. Rewards issued: 50 times Tier 1 potential card, 1 times A-rank talent card. Special Heavenly Tao notice. Subsequent teams that slay a pursuer within the newcomer zones will receive rewards based on conditions. If the kill is the first within their region, 5 times Tier 1 potential card, 1 times C-rank talent card. If it is merely the team's first pursuer kill and not the region's first, 3 times Tier 1 potential card, 1 times D-rank talent card. No one expected the Heavenly Tao announcement to trigger again merely 5 hours later, and from the very same team. By this time, multiple teams across all regions had been wiped out. Most doomed groups had shared information regarding the pursuers right before their annihilation. Everyone now understood how terrifying these monsters were, creatures capable of biting through dozens of square meters of raft wood. Yet such a fearsome beast had been slain by another team on the very first day. The previous Heavenly Tao announcement had showcased resource-gathering capability. This one represented overwhelming combat strength. Such achievements would be impressive at any stage, but this was still the beginning of the survival game. Both exceptional capabilities converged within a single team. How could this be reasonable? They had claimed both landmark announcements and gained an enormous head start. Without extraordinary opportunities, what other group could hope to stand against them should they cross paths in the future? Chat channels in every region erupted into chaos. Many participants burned their last aloud message to voice their thoughts. Damn it, they must be cheating. Humph. Even if they are, do you dare provoke someone who can cheat under Heavenly Tao's watch? Good heavens, what caliber of elite team must this be? A single S-rank talent could never be enough. Unbelievable. The rewards for the world's first kill are leagues above those for later kills, more than 10 times better. This is unfair. I demand these rewards be voided. Oh my god, why is it another Chinese group? This cannot be real. All hail Lu Yun. Lu Yun is invincible. In Region 5000, a middle-aged man with a square jaw listened to the announcement. He looked at his determined, battle-ready teammates and spoke calmly. We will hunt pursuers eventually, but since the world's first kill belongs to one of our countrymen, there is no need to rush. We will prioritize securing our region's first kill cautiously. First, complete 2 divine craft upgrades for our raft. Wait until we possess more items and equipment before attempting to counter a pursuer. We cannot risk everyone's precious lives recklessly. In Region 26201, Smith could no longer stay composed. He stared at his enraged crew and shouted, "Damn it! Another Chinese squad. If we fall further behind, we are finished. Once we finish our divine craft upgrade, we will hunt a pursuer too. We must seize our region's first kill." His crew obeyed, stirred by excitement. They had full faith in Smith's power, and everyone would share the benefits if they claimed the regional first kill. Smith watched his subordinates coldly, silently calculating. That Chinese team must possess resource-focused talents to complete a divine craft upgrade on day 1. To slay a pursuer afterward, they likely recruited a new A-rank combat talent user and certainly sacrificed people to wear the monster down. He himself was an A-rank combat talent wielder. Once he owned a Tier 1 divine craft raft and sacrificed enough crew members to wear down a pursuer, he could achieve the same feat. Sacrificing 50 men to claim the regional first kill was worthwhile. Several crew members were already consuming more supplies than they could contribute. They could be used to extract their final value. Smith's calculations seemed flawless, and confidence swelled within him. Yet his reasoning was fatally flawed. This critical miscalculation would lead his team to become the first A-rank talent squad wiped out entirely just 2 days later. In Region 9526, Meng Xuening, clad in a crimson dress with breathtaking looks and figure, struggled to allocate supplies for the day. Though their stockpile was decent, dividing it among more than 20 students stretched resources thin. Rewards had to be distributed according to individual contributions to keep everyone motivated. There was a silver lining. All her companions were women, so their food consumption was lower. The downside was their limited combat power. Even with her A-rank talent, she could not entertain any thought of claiming a regional first kill. At best, she could keep everyone from starvation, maintain a top-tier standing within the region, and strive for a spot within the leaderboard's top 10. For this reason, she suspected the Lu Yun named in the announcement might merely share the same name as the Lu Yun she knew. The Lu Yun she knew would never abandon Xia Jiexin and the others. She knew the circumstances of their orphanage group well. They could barely avoid dragging others down in combat, let alone compete for the world's first kill against a pursuer. Meng Xuening sighed to herself. Deep down, she had once hoped the announced Lu Yun was the person she knew. If that were true, she would not need to worry so much about their survival. Now that hope faded, she could only pray silently. Xiaoyan, Xiaofeng, Xiaoling, Jiexin, and everyone else. Hold on until regions can connect or merge. Stay alive until the day I find you. Meanwhile, Lu Yun and his companions paid no attention to the flood of praise, curiosity, envy, and accusations filling regional chat channels. They barely glanced at the messages, focusing entirely on tallying the spoils of their battle. A twinge of regret lingered within them that Sister Xuening was not part of their team. She would have received a share of all these rewards. But that possibility would have to wait. It could only happen after they escaped the newcomer zones, depending on whether regions would eventually connect or merge in the ongoing survival game. Lu Yun sorted through the system notifications detailing all rewards. Alone, he hauled the massive corpse of the devil muscle shark back to the raft, alongside a silver-gray treasure chest that materialized after the monster's death, plus several smaller miscellaneous items. The shark's corpse was an extremely valuable resource. Shortly after the devil muscle shark perished, Chu Tiantian's Eye of the Sea God revealed more information. This monster was a rare creature where every part of its body could be utilized. Devil muscle shark corpse exclusive information from Eye of the Sea God. Its flesh is edible with no special effects. The main advantage is an extremely slow decay rate. It will not spoil at all for an entire week, allowing easy storage. The downside is an awful taste. Shark hide and shark bones are essential materials required for future divine craft raft upgrades. According to the information, anyone aiming to fully upgrade their raft through every stage of divine craft construction would eventually have to slay a devil muscle shark. It was an unavoidable hurdle. Having defeated the monster on the very first day, they obtained the required materials ahead of schedule. Their biggest obstacle had been overcome, clearing the path for future progress. As for the shark meat, none of the group wished to eat it. It offered no buffs and tasted terrible. They already had ample food supplies, and the grotesque appearance of the devil mussel shark ruined their appetite. They planned to trade the meat for needed goods if possible. The massive quantity and long shelf life still made it a viable trade commodity. The brutal battle left every member exhausted. Blisters covered the women's hands, and they lacked suitable cutting tools. Knowing the corpse would not rot quickly, they saw no urgency to process it immediately. They towed the shark's body behind the raft using speargun ropes. They would cut it apart once they obtained better tools or required the materials. Everyone gathered excitedly around Lu Yun, eager to witness their most important gains. Lu Yun displayed all the system notifications he had received. You have achieved the world first kill, Pursuer. Heavenly Dao rewards granted. 50 times Tier 1 potential card, 1 times S-rank talent card. Talent effect, Heavenly Dao reward amplification activated. This reward receives a 40x boost. Rewards adjusted. 100 times enhanced Tier 1 potential card, 1 times S-rank talent card. Pursuer slain. You gain 1000 experience. Talent effect, level 4 experience amplification activated. Experience gained increased to 3000. Congratulations, you have reached level 4. Based on your potential, Constitution +8, Spirit +8. He had finally broken past level 0 and jumped straight to level 4. The rest of the party also benefited from his experience sharing. Though they only received half the experience gain, they rose to level 3, earning +3 Constitution and +3 Spirit each. Every level up raised Constitution and Spirit, with the exact amount determined by one's potential stat. After leveling up, the survival handbooks belonging to Lu Yun, Xia Jiexin, and the others updated, unlocking the new potential attribute. 1 point of potential grants +1 Constitution and +1 Spirit per level up. All humans originating from Blue Star began with a base potential of 1. Remarkably, the attribute amplification from Lu Yun's talent applied even to this special stat. After bonuses, his effective potential reached 2, granting +2 Constitution and +2 Spirit with each level. Potential cards, as the name implied, were items that permanently raised potential. Thanks to the talent amplification, the cards transformed into enhanced variants, and the total quantity rose to 100. Tier 1 potential card effect permanently increases potential by 1. Description: each individual can only gain benefits from a maximum of 3 Tier 1 potential cards. Enhanced Tier 1 potential card effect permanently increases potential by 2. Description: this Tier 1 potential card has undergone special strengthening for superior effects. Each individual can only gain benefits from a maximum of 3 enhanced Tier 1 potential cards. Maxing out regular Tier 1 potential cards adds 3 potential. Maxing out enhanced versions adds 6 potential. While the numerical effect was merely doubled, the practical value exceeded tenfold. Potential allowed breaking natural limits, and every increment beyond the baseline represented an exponential increase in strength. After brief discussion, everyone unanimously agreed to prioritize maxing out Lu Yun with the cards. Lu Yun's talent amplified potential gains, allowing him to extract the greatest possible value from the resources. 97 cards remained. The 36 women each received 2 cards first. 23 leftover cards were allocated after careful deliberation to fully raise the potential of Xia Jiexin, Chu Tiantian, Lu Yao, Yi Xiaoqiao, Meng Qingfeng, and Meng Yueling. All 6 possessed talents, so investing resources in them would yield optimal returns. The final 17 cards were reserved for members who might awaken talents in the future, including a portion set aside for Sister Xuening. No one voiced dissatisfaction or false politeness. Everyone accepted the decision sincerely. What about Xia Jiexin, who still lacked a talent? They now held a newly obtained S-rank talent card. This time, the group refused to let Xia Jiexin defer the reward to others. She smiled gently and activated the talent card. Once all potential cards were consumed, Lu Yun gained 6 base potential. His attribute amplification doubled the gain to 12 effective potential. The potential points missed out on from his level-up progression were also retroactively supplemented. Between his jump to level 4 and the potential boosts, his Constitution and Spirit received a total of 56 base points. Further multiplied by his talent amplification, his final stats became staggering. Lu Yun level 4 Constitution, 200-100 by 200% Spirit, 182-91 by 200% Special Attributes, Potential, 14-7 by 200%, His physical capabilities reached 20 times that of an ordinary human, twice as powerful as the devil muscle shark. And all this progress had been achieved within a single day. Xia Jiexin and the other talent wielders each gained 6 potential. The remaining women received 4 potential apiece. Excluding the special cases of Lu Yun and Lu Yao, level advancements brought the group's average attributes to 31 points, matching Lu Yun's baseline stats when he first entered the ocean world. Even captains who secured regional pursuer first kills and concentrated all rewards solely on themselves would struggle to match their stats, and they would permanently lag behind by 1 potential point, a gap that could never be closed. The women laughed and teased one another, joking that even ordinary crew members on their raft might outmatch the captains of most rival teams. The massive power surge of every teammate pushed Lu Yun's goddess favor score above 6,400. Several of his passive amplifications leveled up instantly. Loot amplification and Heavenly Dao reward amplification rose to level 7. Their boost range expanded from 1050 times to 1560 times, raising both minimum and maximum multipliers. The next upgrade for both buffs required 13,000 goddess favor points. Luck amplification advanced to level 3, increasing baseline luck by an additional 300%. Attribute amplification reached level 2, boosting all attributes by an extra 150%. The buff further elevated Lu Yun's newly enhanced stats, bringing his constitution to 280 and spirit to 257. He held over 6,400 goddess favor points, drawing close to the 6,800 point threshold required to upgrade experience amplification. The power of his unique SSS rank talent continued to grow. After everyone finished absorbing their upgrades, Xia Jiexin completed her talent awakening. Even Xia Jiexin, who usually maintained a steady demeanor, lit up with uncontainable excitement upon reading her talent description. She clapped her hands softly and said warmly to the group, "Everyone, come close to me. I will heal your wounds." She opened her status panel and shared it with everyone. Xia Jiexin level, 3 potential, 7 constitution, 42 spirit, 36 talent, light of healing S rank. Conjure a sphere of light capable of healing targets. It mends both injuries and illnesses. At advanced mastery, it can even regenerate severed limbs. Healing effectiveness improves the closer targets stand. All healing type abilities gain a 500% effectiveness boost. After witnessing Xia Jiexin's ability, everyone could not help showing delighted expressions. No one expected Sister Xia, who had suffered from illness for many years, to finally awaken a talent capable of healing injuries and ailments. It was truly a twist of fate. In this world where decent medical care was scarce and medicine hard to come by, any injury or sickness would carry severe consequences under ordinary circumstances. Everyone had always feared getting hurt. Now that their sister Xia possessed such a powerful healing ability, the group no longer needed to worry about anyone being held back by wounds or illness. The women lined up neatly, stretching out their hands obediently like school children. Their palms were covered in blisters from rowing and fighting the muscular devil sharks. Seeing this, Xia Jiexin's heart ached, and she quickly activated her talent. As Xia Jiexin sent clusters of healing light onto everyone's hands, their palms recovered rapidly. Within seconds, their skin regained its smooth fairness. Not a single scar remained, not even a callus. Seeing the effect, the women could not help teasing her. "Sister Xia, you're incredible. We love you so much. Our team finally has our dedicated healer. Hee, Sister Xia, go heal Yinga too. I can see he's eager for it." Xia Jiexin shot the playful girls an exasperated glance, then turned toward Lu Yun shyly, wondering how he would react. When she noticed he truly seemed to be looking forward to the treatment, her cheeks flushed. Healing was just healing, yet they kept calling her a healer and teasing her, leaving her flustered. Still, she walked over to Lu Yun and carefully used healing light to mend the minor wounds he had sustained during the battle. Lu Yun looked down at the breathtakingly beautiful Xia Jiexin and said softly, "Thank you, Sister Xia." Xia Jiexin gave him a reproachful, yet gentle glance that held no menace at all. Realizing how soft her gaze seemed, she reached out and lightly pinched his ear. "We don't need to exchange thanks between us." She quickly shifted her gaze toward the silver, gray treasure chest beside Lu Yun's feet. He had been about to open it before pausing to let her treat everyone. Phase 1 Pursuer Treasure Chest. Description: a treasure chest dropped only upon defeating a Phase 1 Pursuer. It can yield high-tier rare items with extremely low drop rates during Phase 1. Alongside the chest were a coin and 2 slips of paper. The coin was an ocean crystal coin marked with the number 300. It was sapphire blue and crystal clear, nearly blending into the seawater. They would have missed it entirely without Chu Tiantian's Eye of the Sea God. Information revealed by the Eye of the Sea God showed it held great value. In the future, randomly spawning ocean shops would accept ocean crystal coins as currency for purchasing goods. Beyond trading, ocean crystal coins could also act as a universal energy source and fuel to power various machinery and facilities. Their utility was extensive. It was clear that the barter system currently used in the regional chat channel would eventually be replaced by ocean crystal coins as the universal currency. The 2 slips of paper were also extremely important, and one of them was arguably far more valuable than the treasure chest itself. They decided to gather later to carefully examine and interpret the contents of the slips. It would serve as a small pastime in this barren survival world. Lu Yun lifted the lid of the Pursuer treasure chest first. Treasure chest opened successfully. You have obtained primary genetic enhancement potion ×1. Your talent activates. This loot roll receives a 51x multiplier. You have obtained primary genetic enhancement potion ×51. The primary genetic enhancement potion was indeed an extremely rare drop within Phase 1. That made perfect sense. This potion permanently boosted 2 core base attributes, physique and spirit, by 10 points each, making it an overpowered item at this stage. Even so, it did not seem especially precious to Lu Yun's group. They had encountered the potion multiple times on the very first day, and now they had acquired 51 bottles all at once. There was enough for everyone, leaving 10 extra bottles in reserve after distributing 1 to each member and 2 for those with awakened talents. After drinking the potions, every member gained an additional 10 points of physique and spirit. Their stats now surpassed Lu Yun's baseline attributes when he first arrived in the ocean world. Lu Yun's goddess rating rose by another 500 points as a result, reaching over 6,900. His experience augmentation ability leveled up. Experience augmentation LV.5. You gain an extra 300% experience. All female members of your team gain an extra 150% experience. The effect was a full 50% stronger than at level 4. Among his upgradable augmentations, durability augmentation would be the next to unlock its next tier once his rating hit 7,200 points. Other augmentations such as reward, loot, and attribute augmentation required over 10,000 points for further upgrades. Still, reaching 8,000 points would unlock a brand new augmentation. The future looked promising. His growth, type SSS unique, ranked talent still showed no clear upper limit. After consuming the genetic potions, the women gathered and formed a circle by habit. The scene brought back irreplaceable memories from their days at the orphanage. Back then, they had little entertainment besides an old television. Whenever Lu Yun organized activities to cheer them up, they would gather around him just like this. Their surroundings had changed. Their bodies were now fully healed, yet their feelings remained unchanged. All eyes turned toward Lu Yun standing in the center. Their next order of business was to discuss the 2 slips of paper dropped from the battle. The first slip held, Muscular Devil Shark Summon Scrollbound. Effect, summon 3 Pursuer, Muscular Devil Sharks once more. Defeating them will still grant full kill rewards. Description, loot only obtained when a team slays the Muscular Devil Shark for the first time. Do you dare use it? Each Muscular Devil Shark provided massive amounts of materials upon defeat. Most importantly, every kill guaranteed a Pursuer treasure chest. Using the scroll was an obvious decision. There was no need to rush, however. Lu Yun planned to wait until their raft completed its level 2 Heavenly Craftsman upgrade before activating it. A single Muscular Devil Shark posed little threat to them now, but 3 fighting together would be a different challenge. He stored the scroll away, and everyone turned their attention to the far more important slip of paper. It was merely an informational note, yet it commanded everyone's full attention. Mysterious Note Number 1 Description. A hint only granted to teams that defeat a Pursuer on the first day. Content 1. If you reach the first resource island, be the first group of survivors to locate and enter the cave. You will not regret it. Content 2. Do not fear what comes tonight. No harm will befall you. However, seize the item that appears as quickly as possible. It will vanish forever if another person claims it first. The note laid out critical clues about upcoming events. After memorizing every detail, the group clarified their priorities for the days ahead. The time was now 6 in the afternoon, time for dinner. Tonight's meal was deluxe self-heating hot pot. The package contained tofu puffs, cabbage, potato slices, bean sprouts, enoki mushrooms, noodles, beef brisket, and pork slices. The portions were generous, more plentiful than a takeout spicy hot pot order. It was a well-known brand that sold for 58 Blue Star dollars per box. Back on Blue Star, None of them could afford such a luxury. Besides, their bodies had not been suited for heavy, spicy food back then. Whenever they had hot pot, Lu Yun would buy ingredients, and Xia Jiexin and the others would prepare a clear broth version. Now they were all eager to try the rich, spicy flavor they had long wondered about. Xia Jiexin led the group members who were used to cooking to prepare the meal. The process was straightforward. They arranged the ingredients, placed the heating pack at the bottom, and added water. Soon, a rich, spicy aroma drifted across the raft, making several people cough as they adjusted to the scent. Before long, everyone received a serving of hot pot alongside a box of rice, 2 pineapple buns, and a bottle of cola. Fruit was served afterward, for oranges and 2 bananas. Supplies on the raft had piled up into tall stacks. Even Xia Jiexin and the others, who were naturally frugal, felt they ought to eat heartily. Otherwise, there would soon be no space left for newly collected supplies. Lu Yun smiled, glad to see everyone slowly letting go of their constant sense of scarcity. His own serving was doubled, prepared for him by Xia Jiexin. She said his high physique meant he needed more food as a man. So this is what spicy hot pot tastes like. It's delicious. I think I've grown fond of spicy food. It tastes good, but it still can't compare to meals cooked by Sister Xia. Of course not. Sister Xia's cooking is amazing. Even plain vegetables taste wonderful. Still, this hot pot is great. No wonder it's so expensive. I don't think I can finish all of this. I want to save room for fruit. Anyone want to help finish my portion? The women sat together with their food, smiles spreading across their faces, brimming with satisfaction. The scene looked nothing like a survival dinner. It resembled a wealthy group out on a wilderness camping trip, making Lu Yun's team stand out sharply from everyone else. The regional chat channel reflected the harsh reality most survivors faced. This is terrible. Dinner is just 3 crackers and less than half a bottle of water. I've been rowing all day, and this is all I get. How are we supposed to survive? You're lucky. Our team missed 12 wooden barrels, and our haul was poor. We have to stock emergency supplies, so rations are only available every 2 days. This is worse than surviving alone in the wilderness. I'm so hungry. I wish I hadn't dieted back home. Is there anyone kind enough to share some food with me? I wonder how Lu Yun's team is doing. They must have plenty to eat. His group keeps such a low profile. No one has spotted any of them or learned anything about their situation. Don't envy them. I doubt they're faring much better. They built the first heavenly craftsman raft, which required extraordinary luck to pull more resources than average. If most barrels yielded lumber and rope, they would have found little food. They're probably starving too. That makes sense. Every team only gets 31 barrels each day. Those who gather more materials naturally find less food. Exactly. 10 barrels of food barely sustain a 30-person team for a single day under normal conditions. We got 13 barrels of materials and only 8 of food and water. The pressure is overwhelming. I wonder if those huge 100-person teams regret their setup. Even if every barrel they collected held food, it would barely feed everyone. Don't mention it. I'm in one of those large teams. Those who don't work get rations every 2 days, and workers get 1 bun and half a bottle of water. Still, large groups have advantages smaller teams lack. Hearing that even skilled players are struggling makes me feel a little better. I hope things improve soon. Meanwhile, Lu Yun's group had already wiped the grease from their lips. The women rubbed their full stomachs and lay down on the raft, gazing up at the brilliant starry sky as they chatted, waiting for the valuable item mentioned in the note. At 9 o'clock in the evening, the event warned about on the mysterious note finally unfolded. Even with advance warning and ample preparation, Lu Yun and the others stared in shock at the sudden transformation in the sky. A crack split open the firmament. A massive river of blood cascaded from the fissure like a towering waterfall. Upon closer look, however, it was not blood at all, but countless blood-red tentacles hanging downward, writhing densely like maggots. The churning waves were countless eyes blinking along the tentacles. The sight drained the sanity of survivors across every region. Even Lu Yun's group broke out in goosebumps, overcome with discomfort. Worse still, 2 enormous hands pushed out from within the mass of tentacles, as if tearing open a curtain. 2 stone statues tens of thousands of meters tall stepped out, their surfaces covered in horrifying cracks. One was a giant Buddha statue with dozens of rounded protuberances atop its head. Its hands were pressed together, head slightly bowed with a faint smile. It would have seemed serene if not for the eerie crimson light spilling over its features. Bathed in that glow, it looked nothing like a Buddha. It resembled an ominous entity draped in Buddhist robes, ready to drag souls into a spirit banner at any moment, sending chills down everyone's spine. The second statue was an elderly Taoist. It appeared less unnerving at first glance, shrouded in purple mist, until one noticed its constantly shifting eyes and expressions that twisted into vicious malice without warning. What on earth are those things? Is the sky falling? Stay away. They're heading straight for us. No. Someone in our team was scared to death. Don't come any closer. Every survivor in the new region witnessed the identical scene. More than a few collapsed from sheer terror. The towering, menacing statues drifted toward every raft as if coming to claim lives. Most people felt a primal sense of oppression standing before hundreds of meters tall buildings or giant Buddha statues back on Blue Star. Now they faced creatures tens of thousands of meters high bearing down on them. Few could remain calm. That overwhelming dread could not be put into words. Many lost the ability to think, their minds turning blank, paralyzed by terror. Thanks to the advance note, Lu Yun and Xia Jixin's group felt tense but not terrified. Lu Yun fixed his gaze on the horrifying statues without fear, only curiosity. He studied their strange forms and searched for the precious item the note had promised. The women had been nervous at first, but seeing Lu Yun standing before them like an unbreakable shield, all anxiety faded, replaced by security and comfort. Chu Tiantian instinctively activated the Eye of the Sea God to gather more information, and she succeeded. Yungu, the statues will vanish once they reach 1,000 meters from us. A blood-colored treasure chest will drop onto the sea. That is the item we need to race for. Understood. Everyone get ready. Lu Yun issued a steady command. The group turned away from the unsettling statues and moved into position according to their prearranged plan. The 10 members with the highest physique took up the oars, while the others stabilized the stacked supplies. The statues drew nearer, close enough that it felt they could crush the raft with a single step. The sense of oppression intensified by the second. Across all regions, more survivors succumbed to fear. Many panicked, jumping off their rafts and swimming desperately in the opposite direction. Lu Yun's team paid no attention to the chaos. They listened closely to the crisp updates from the stunning young girl whose eyes shimmered with purple light. 3,000 meters, 2,000 meters, 1,500 meters, 1,000 meters. The treasure chest has appeared. The moment Chu Tiantian finished speaking, Lu Yun's group rode with all their strength. With each member possessing over 40 points of physique and boosted by the raft's swift sail trait, the 30-meter raft surged forward with speed comparable to a speedboat. Beneath starlight, the raft cut across the waves, racing toward the treasure chest. Other teams watched the terrifying statues disappear. Those who kept their composure and observed carefully also spotted the blood-colored chest. Guys, does anyone else see a blood-colored treasure chest out there? I see it. I've got the C-rank clairvoyance talent. Damn, that treasure chest looks like it's bleeding. The seawater is dyed red. The red tide keeps spreading. Anything born amid such a terrifying scene can't be good. We need to get out of here fast. But what if it holds incredible treasures? I don't buy it. I'm not going anywhere near it. I'm not risking my life. Exactly. Haven't you heard of mimic chests? This has to be a trap. I'd love to take a chance, but everyone on my boat jumped overboard out of fear. I can't gather a crew. I'm going for it. I'll try to grab it. Oh my God, this must be a devil's casket left behind by Satan. Don't act rashly, everyone. Nearly everyone who spotted the treasure chest across different zones watched it with deep caution. Most had no intention of approaching it and wanted to steer clear. Only a few bold teams thought it over and gritted their teeth, deciding to take the risk. But before their boats could travel far, the treasure chest vanished out of nowhere. It simply disappeared right before their eyes. Wait a minute. I was just about to head over. Where did that huge chest go? The chest gone on your end too? Yeah, mine's vanished as well. It looks like every single chest has disappeared. Thank goodness it's gone. It never looked like anything good. Good riddance. I told everyone not to bother with it. It might have just been a mirage. That chest could be a trap waiting in another region. The world's laws are warning us to watch out for similar chests in the future. Nonsense. I'm convinced it contained amazing loot, and it was a limited time spawn. I missed the limited event treasure chest. None of them knew the simple reason behind the chest's disappearance. Someone had already claimed it first. At that moment, Lu Yun and the others stared excitedly at the special treasure chest. Once hauled onto the raft, it stopped bleeding and appeared completely ordinary, even emanating a strange, holy aura. Braveheart's treasure chest, special treasure chest description, a reward for the first person from Blue Star to claim it. Inside, you may obtain proof of the high-tier sequence, Brave Warrior. The moment they laid eyes on the term sequence, their survival manuals updated automatically, unlocking information about sequences. Simply put, Sequences function much like classes in online games. Once survivors reach level 10, they can use the corresponding proof to unlock a sequence and gain its associated abilities and enhancements. Different sequences grant distinct powers and bonuses, and there is a clear hierarchy of strength and rarity among them, ranked from lowest to highest based on completeness and power. Inferior rank, low rank, middle rank, high rank, peak rank, high tier, supreme tier, unique supreme tier. A peak rank sequence might only be obtained by 1 out of a billion living beings. One can only imagine how difficult it is to acquire a high-tier sequence. In theory, this could be Blue Star humanity's only chance to obtain a high-tier sequence under normal circumstances. Even so, Lu Yun was far from satisfied. He had no desire to become a mere brave warrior. Activate Treasure Opening Boost. Talent effect, Treasure Opening Boost activated. This role receives a 58x amplification. High-tier sequence, Brave Warrior has been upgraded to Sequence Creation Card. Sequence Creation Card. Effect. Upon use, you may craft a sequence perfectly suited to yourself. The final rank of the sequence depends entirely on the creator. At minimum, it may become an incomplete sequence with no proper classification. Yet it could also work a miracle, birthing an entirely new, unmatched unique supreme tier sequence. Unique supreme tier sequences cannot be acquired through any other means. They can only be created personally. Usage requirement. Level greater than or equal to 10. Description. A product of miracles. Whether it brings fortune or misfortune is for you to discover. If the outcome is poor, do not blame the card. This far surpassed the Brave Warrior sequence proof. Chu Tiantian had used her Sea God's eyes to gather information. The Brave Warrior sequence was merely fairly average among all high-tier sequences. It was not weak, yet held no outstanding advantages. Lu Yun carefully stowed the sequence creation card away, planning to use it himself. With his SSS unique grade talent, Lu Yun believed the result would not disappoint. He could at the very least aim for a supreme tier sequence, and possibly even a unique supreme tier 1. Since his talent bore the unique tag, the odds of creating a sequence carrying the same mark were theoretically the highest. All the young women trusted Lu Yun would forge a sequence stronger than the high-tier Brave Warrior sequence. Now that they held the treasure chest, there were no more urgent tasks for the day. The events of just this single day felt longer than an entire month. Within merely 24 hours, every single one of them had undergone a complete transformation. Their physical conditions had greatly improved, and their overall strength had increased nearly tenfold. Lu Yun's power had surged almost 30 times over. Counting the time they spent on Blue Star, none of them had slept for a full day. After enduring an exhausting day of struggles, weariness washed over the group, and they soon drifted off to sleep. They were all on the open raft, furnished with nothing but a sunshade and piled supplies. Afraid of rolling into the ocean in their sleep, they cleared the center of the raft and huddled together. Nights in this ocean survival world grew chilly, and huddling close helped them retain warmth. Lu Yun was positioned in the middle. Xia Jixin lay in front of him, while Yi Xiaoqiong, who loved sticking close to him, curled up behind him. With 280 constitution and 257 spirit, Lu Yun possessed extraordinary stamina and recovery speed. Coupled with the endurance bonus from his talent, he was naturally resilient. He only needed at most 2 hours of sleep within a 24-hour period to stay fully energetic. He did not feel overly tired right now. Lu Yun was an ordinary, healthy young man. Now that hunger and hardship were no longer pressing concerns, the closeness of everyone around him stirred subtle restlessness within him as he relaxed. He could feel Xia Jixin's steady breathing. Thanks to his powerful spirit stat, he sensed she was still awake. A little awkward, Lu Yun shifted his position uncomfortably, unsure how to settle himself. A soft voice, lowered to a whisper, sounded beside him all of a sudden. Xiao Yun, can't you sleep either? Xia Jia, you should rest first. I'll fall asleep soon. After a long pause, the gentle voice spoke again. You won't be able to rest like this. Let me help you settle down. Xia Jia, what are you? Lu Yun's eyes widened in surprise. Beneath the moonlight, he saw Xia Jixin's ears flushed bright red, her beautiful face buried against him, too shy to meet his gaze. Her movements were clumsy yet incredibly tender. Her voice came muffled against him, still soft yet filled with earnest determination. Xiao Yun, I'm no longer a burden to you. I love you. Don't push me away. If you do, I really will cry. Faced with the vulnerable Xia Jixin, Lu Yun could not utter a single word of refusal. He wrapped his arms around her in response. Their voices were quiet, yet they lay very near one another. For anyone with constitution and spirit above 40 who focused their hearing, every word could be clearly heard. Several girls who remained awake curved their lips. Their eyes fluttered open occasionally, holding only joy and quiet admiration, without a trace of jealousy or resentment. Each silently thought about what the future might hold for them. Yi Xiaoqiong pouted softly, but chose to keep pretending to sleep. They had spoken about this among themselves long before. Everyone agreed Xia Jia ought to be the first, and no one would have any objections. The next morning, Lu Yun opened his eyes, his stamina and spirit fully restored, his spirits higher than ever. He stretched lazily. He had stayed awake until the sky began to lighten the night before, caught up in the emotions of the moment. When he rose, the others, who were used to waking early, were already up. Lu Yun noticed the girls whispering among themselves, shooting teasing glances back and forth between him and Xia Jixing. It must have been the light sleepers spreading word last night. He would tease them about it sooner or later. Lu Yun was in an excellent mood. He glanced toward Xia Jixing. She maintained her usual gentle demeanor. If one ignored her perpetually flushed ears, she looked no different from normal. Still, she clearly knew what everyone had overheard. Everyone held deep respect and affection for Xia Jixing, which kept the others from playfully poking at her red ears out of curiosity. Breakfast was ready. The group wanted something light. 2 pineapple buns, a bottle of water, 2 mandarins, and 2 bananas made up each serving. Lu Yun's portion was doubled, and anyone who still felt hungry could take extra food freely. They no longer forced extreme frugality now. It was better to eat the provisions than let them go to waste. From now on, they aimed to eat 3 well-nourished, filling meals each day. Honestly, their current life was even more abundant than when Lu Yun had lived in the orphanage. Perhaps this brutal survival world truly was a blessing for them. After breakfast, the young women took turns rowing the raft as they had planned the previous day. Beside each rower sat a helper waving small cardboard sheets to fan away the heat. With constitution reaching 40 for everyone, paired with the 5-fold movement boost from the swift trait, the raft surged forward at a steady speed even without last night's frantic exertion. It raced across the water far faster than a raft ought to travel, comparable to a slow-speed motorboat. Lu Yun turned his attention to the daily blessing support reward he had received once more. Today's reward was still a level 1 support gift pack. Gift packs were extremely valuable, as they benefited from his treasure opening boost. The previous day's pack had yielded crucial black iron harpoon and spear after amplification. He wondered what he would obtain this time. Rubbing his hands together, Lu Yun retrieved the gift pack and opened it.